22nd Derby d'Italia. Two teams who are waiting to make their way out onto the tunnel for this much anticipated matchup. Would you believe it is the 5th time in 2025 that the Stallions and Wests face off? So far, the head-to-head record split evenly at 2 wins apiece. That will and that must change this evening. The most important win on that ledger yet awaits tonight at Leichhardt Oval. It is the most amount of times these two have faced off in a single calendar year in their entire history. A matchup that stretches all the way back to 1970 and burns just as bright this evening as it did 5 decades ago. Both teams making their way out onto the field at Leichhardt Oval for Derby d'Italia 92. And the first national competition meeting in 33 years and 283 days. Marconi were 1-0 winners that day, courtesy of Andy Harper. There's been no shortage of magical names to grace this fixture across the journey. Tonight, it is a new crop of stars looking to make their name in this storied fixture. Anticipation building in the Inner West for the kickoff of the quarterfinal stage in the Australian Championship. Crowd still filtering their way in. The build-up for this one has been absolutely intense all week. It has been the talk of the town at this special venue. All is in readiness, but for the Australian national anthem, which we'll listen to now. Rendition of the anthem to match the occasion. Let's head into the lineups for both sides. And in Franco Parisi's APIA 11, there is one headline addition. Former 100-game Marconi Stallion, Dom Costanzo, is in for his first APIA start. He comes in alongside Seiya Kambiashi and Patrick Flotman. Michael Kuda was ill during the week, so he drops to the bench alongside Rory Jordan, while injury has ruled star attacker Jack Stewart not just out of tonight, but potentially out of the remainder of the tournament in the Australian Championship for APIA. And after the 5-0 shocker on the road to Wollongong last week, it is back to normal for the Stallions tonight. 5 first-choice names return. Captain Marko Jesic, defensive duo Anton Mlinaric and George Daniel, alongside Franco Meyer and Damien Sekenis, who has fought off a back injury concern in midweek to make his start this evening. Before we get into this hotly anticipated matchup, we've had a chance to speak to both coaches they called up earlier with Andy Pascalinas.
Andy, what I'm going to say is seeing you on SBS talking to you right now. That's got me all excited. That means it's a big game just by you here on the mic, on SBS, Andy Pascalides. That's my answer right there. But in terms of the football side, yeah, look, the group stage is great. You get 6 games to get yourself ready. And thankfully, you know, both of us have got through. You know, we speaking to Marconi, we said it would have been nicer to avoid each other, but the one positive I've taken from it is one of us is guaranteed in the semis. So representing Sydney, representing the communities, we're guaranteed that one of us will go through.
Yeah, it's been a really good journey here. The boys have been really solid, some really solid performances. Defensively, we've been very strong and got the goals we needed. Obviously, we had a slight hiccup last week, but the boys really, you know, trained well this week and looking forward to tonight's game.
Well, Peter Sekenis called it a slight hiccup. Maybe some else would feel differently, but it is all eyes on tonight's, where experienced A-League referee Lockie Keevers leads what is a 5-man referee panel this evening. Will Samsa and Luke Genomatis in the assistant slots, Alex King and Patrick Telecki, the 4th and 5th officials respectively. More on that all-important 5th official in a moment. But right now, it is all eyes on the prize. Final team talks to both sides. A massive matchup for these two titans of Sydney soccer. We'll be watching out Marconi for that man, Drayden Kelly. Scored the last time these two met. A 2-0 win for APIA in the NPL New South Wales preliminary final. And finally, after 33 years, the Derby d'Italia is back under the eyes of Australia, and how great to have it back in this spotlight in the Australian Championship quarterfinals. And what a pleasure it is to have your company for it. As George Daniel gets that one out for the first goal kick. It is also a pleasure to have the commentary stylings of a former Socceroo and Atek Gench. Atek, you must be very excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, Lockie. It's great to be here. It's a huge rivalry, the Derby d'Italia. Both coaches, I spoke to both of them today, Peter Sekenis and Franco Parisi, happy with their campaign. Seka was philosophical about that game against Wollongong, where they were one header away from actually getting eliminated. But they're a quality team. Both teams are very confident. Both teams feel they can win the game. I think the first 10 minutes will be very hectic, but they're both proactive to be on the front foot, so we're looking forward to a great contest.
The last 3 NPL New South Wales champions have been APIA, Marconi and APIA. In New South Wales football, these two have been there with the cream of the crop, not just in recent years, but over the journey as well. I should mention earlier remarks about shocking Marconi Stallions results. I'll come back to that in a second, as APIA are angling their way for a corner, and they're going to get their wish.
Yeah, good work there by Presley Ortiz. He's been outstanding for APIA. 18 goals during the year, regular season, and more here in the Australian Championships. And there'll be a handful APIA on set pieces, particularly Drayden Kelly, who is just a monster inside that box and can score.
Well, APIA have smashed in set pieces this season. It's been one of their most effective routes to goals. Drayden Kelly has been at the forefront. Can he be here as it's swung in towards Flotman? And APIA's apex route to goal nearly produced inside the opening 2 minutes.
Well, great delivery. A nice header. Might have shaved the post. Just need to have a look at that one again. That's where the delivery came in. Beautiful. And yes, just shaved the post. Unlucky. Patrick Flotman, who spent a lot of time in Asia, along with Kelly, was a real danger on those set pieces.
A big addition to the starting side tonight. It's the first time in the Australian Championship that Franco Parisi has made a change to his back 4, which has been the best in the competition so far. Just 4 shipped. And that camera angle would have been giving you Vietnam flashbacks if you're a Marconi fan, because that was the same angle where we saw Lockie Scott and Bannery Kanazumi just go wide last week with the score at 5-0. A set-piece situation coming here for the Stallions. This is the reason why. For all the good he does in the air, in attack, Drayden Kelly, that time quite the opposite, going the other way.
Yeah, and both coaches feel that this game could be decided on, you know, a set piece, a referee decision, a penalty. So it's those moments in the game, and this is an opportunity for Marconi to make it count.
Van der Sarg has been a sterling Australian Championship signing from Manly for the Stallions. He's the man tasked with producing. It's a decently bent ball from Van der Sarg, double punch away by Kalatz. And Saya Kambiashi happy to help it on its way. There's a surprising leave there, and Marko Jesic was coming back from an offside position. Those offside calls will be as eagerly watched this evening as any. It's a bit of a historic night for the Australian Championship as it becomes the latest competition to trial FVS, Football Video Support. We've heard that news in midweek. It's FIFA's new modified sort of alternative to VAR, recently been trialled at the under-20 and under-17 World Cups. It is in effect tonight. The Coach's Challenge system, same principles as regular VAR. Each team get a minimum of 2 challenges this evening. They can request officials to reassess incidents, goals, penalties, red cards, mistaken identity. So we will be watching out for that this evening. You may see on the sideline tonight the FVS tent where those decisions will be reviewed. And if they come up, we'll get stuck into the how and the why a little bit later on. But got that all-important housekeeping off and away. I can't help but wonder. No, I want to try and get it out of the way early, but that 5-0 result last week really was one of the great sporting spectacles of recent time.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Here we see Cameron Fong.
Here comes Cameron Fong, hurtling down the right. It's missed in the middle initially. Here's Farinella, who couldn't quite replicate his fantastic goal-scoring touch last week. 2 goals against Bayswater City in the 4-1 win that carried them into the quarterfinals. Still getting the shooting boots on this evening.
Yeah, great work by Cameron Fong. Just got him behind George Daniel on the right side. And Farinella, who's been outstanding for APIA, maybe a little bit disappointed with that finish. But we'll see Cameron Fong always try and go forward in those areas. But getting back to that game against Wollongong, and I spoke to Seka, very philosophical, like I said, around the result, but they were just one moment away from being eliminated, and they really need to bounce back here because APIA have a lot of momentum. I watched them play against Bayswater last week as well, and they were outstanding. Farinella obviously scoring 2 goals in that game.
There's wonderful work down the right. The ball in search of Jesic is lumped clear by Drayden Kelly. Despite being a central defender, he's APIA's top scorer in the championship so far with 3 goals to his name. Saya Kambiashi inside to the man of the moment this evening, Dom Costanzo. 5 seasons at the Stallions. Takes them on this evening. Looking to take them on is Presley Ortiz. He goes to ground, and all's fair in the eyes of Lockie Keevers, out for a Marconi goal kick. And as philosophical as Seka may have been, ATEC, he did make 5 changes, 5 names come back into the side tonight. Do you think there is a bit of a lingering memory potentially, or is it simply the fact that those 5 first team names come back and you just cast that one to the dustbin of history?
Yeah, I don't think Seka's going to be worried about it. He's an experienced coach. He's done a great job at Marconi. Before that, he was doing a great job at Bankstown City Lions. No, he understands. He's experienced enough to understand you need to get him back up and play, and it's probably extra motivation for them really to tighten it up a little bit. We see both teams here in this game pressing very high, not letting each other play, and it's that midfield battle which will decide the outcome of this, but it'll be more hectic. If you watched APIA play Bayswater last week, they just dominated the centre of the park, and they probably won't get as much time here against Marconi.
Macchio able to break free of the ever-present midfield presence of Eddie Caspers in the championship. He started every game so far, the 22-year-old. Big weekend for the Caspers family at Leichhardt Oval. His sister, a Sydney FC midfielder, playing at this venue on Sunday against the Mariners. Big weekend for Leichhardt Oval in general. Kambiashi, such a fascinating player to watch. He's going to be one of the keys you would imagine this evening, A-Tech. The way he drifts sort of throughout the midfield. He's a very hard player to pick up because he just floats everywhere he likes to go.
Yeah, 100%. Kambiashi can play multiple positions. He's played it in the back line. He's lining up here in a wide area, but we see him operating centrally as well. So kind of that free role. But I like technically APIA's front three, front four. I think in terms of pure technical prowess, they're very, very good and highly dangerous for Marconi.
Of course, in that front three is the man around whom there has been so much discussion in the lead up to this one, Dom Costanzo. Peter Sekena said he hoped that he started today. He's gotten his wish. What is it, that experience like coming up against your old side, not just in a regular game, but in a derby fixture? What is going to be running through his mind as he takes on not just his former teammates, but some of his current day friends as well?
Yeah, he had so many great moments at Marconi over the last few years, Costanzo, and yeah, it's unusual, isn't it, for him to all of a sudden be in an APIA shirt playing in the Australian Championships. There's rumours of him going back to Adelaide. That's not confirmed. But yeah, it had mixed feelings. He's had a great attachment to Marconi for a long time.
There were many in New South Wales surprised to see him go on the eve of the championship. 105 appearances, 65 goal contributions in Stallions colours. His latest contribution is to win a free kick for his new side. Angelo, of course, that was probably Peter's reaction when he got the news that Dom was heading on. That head to the heavens, but...
Yeah, I played against Angelo many times. Outstanding footballer. And pretty sure he played a bit of A-League as well. So he's Adelaide City, A-League, top player.
It serves me right, he departed Marconi to go and play for Adelaide United, so quality footballer, former Socceroo as well. I'm sure he'll have eagle eyes on his sunset piece delivery here. If there is any team who knows how good Dom's deliveries can be, it is his former employers who are doing a bit of sorting out here in the penalty area. Anton Lenaric and Drayden Kelly, Presley Ortiz involved as well. And in it comes from Costanzo, and well-shaped too. Hilton had to punch in the end. It was made very awkward by Kelly. Here's Caspers. Clips it back in, deflects it out, and APIA are going to get a corner. The kind of opportunity from which they went close in the opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, they've settled better than Marconi APIA have. Just better possession, better moments. Most of the territory. And another corner in a dangerous area.
These are some of the critical moments this evening. Could be decided on moments like this as it's curled in well again. This time Marconi heads first to the football. Akio trying to get quickly in the move. It's won back well by Patrick Flotman. Kambiashi. Farinella retreats to Sean Simmons. Derby d'Italia veteran, living APIA legend. Costanzo. Able to confound Tyron Burney that time. So it's another set piece in quick succession for this evening's hosts.
It's a great opportunity now for APIA to possibly show us a variation. But that near post delivery, probably away from Milinaric, would be advisable.
Same side, same set piece taker. Will it produce a different result? Well, Ortiz was at the front post, didn't quite get the desired contact, and Burney and Costanzo battle, and Costanzo wins out. In it comes again from Kambiashi. Kelly controlling, Kelly firing, and well, he's very good with the ball at the head in attacking situations, maybe not so good with the ball at feet.
We had a good first touch in the right area onto his left foot, Drayden Kelly there, but this is off the back with great pressure from APIA. It's a difficult technique, but once again, he's always a handful, Drayden Kelly, in the opponent's box. Good physique, strong.
It's an imposing figure Canadian defender. Fantastic first season in APIA colours. 7 goals from defence in all competitions. Set himself a goal of 10 clean sheets this year. He's absolutely smashed that. Signing out of Queensland. Picked off high up the park by Tyron Burney, and it is going to be a free kick and an early card for Costanzo. That is a very interesting one. 13 minutes into this fixture.
Yeah, Costanzo just a little bit late with that challenge. It presents another opportunity for Marconi. There, yeah. A little bit late. Not ideal to get a yellow card this early in the game.
He is the key figure of this fixture. To avoid becoming its pantomime villain, he was sent off already in the Australian Championship against Metro Stars to go with his 2 goals and 2 assists so far. Standing over the dead ball is a man who is no stranger to scoring in the Derby d'Italia, Marco Jesic. He's the fixture's all-time top scorer in the MPL era. And here is Marco Jesic, straight into the wall. And straight into the first man again. That may potentially give us an opportunity to head pitch side, where sideline reporter Andy Pascalidis is with Franco Parisi.
Start to your side, unfortunately.
Oh, it's an opening 50.
I'll check back in with Andy and Franco in a second. Stay with play for the present moments. As Tyron Burney looks to turn Sean Simmons. And it is Burney who does enough to get the beating of the APIA captain. Must be said, ATAC, we are blessed with some quality fullback talent this evening in the form of the likes of Sean Simmons, Tyron Burney, George Daniel on the other side as well, Cameron Fong.
Yeah, TJ Burney, ex-Blacktown City, moved to Marconi. He's been outstanding. Really good pace, quick, gets forward, and when Marconi are functioning, you'll find him virtually playing as a winger. But there you also have Sean Simmons, left back for APIA, an amazing footballer, stalwart.
Here comes the set piece, and at the front post was Mlinaric, and cut back for Akio, who can't get a shot away. And now Kambiashi can canter forward. Mutakudis positioned his body expertly. Snuffed out the opportunity. Well, that is a risky one, and it's easy pickings for Marco Jesic. He just didn't have enough in the way of support, and Caspers was able to get it clear to Costanzo. He's got open Parcher to work with, and his former teammate in Tyron Burney in his wake. In his way. Good to see that the fans tonight have spilled onto the opposite side of Leichhardt Oval, taking up the available seating over on the hill. It is a absolutely fantastic venue for football, and APIA so far have done a brilliant job turning out crowds with regularity. The 8th wonder of the world. As Ortiz and Mlinaric come together. Van der Sarg wins the ball back legally. But it has proved tricky so far in the opening 15 minutes for Marconi, when they win the ball, to string together a coherent attack thereafter.
It's a very physical battle, something that we did expect. It's pretty hectic there in the centre of the park. Both teams want to deny their opponent time and space. And that battle, like I said, with Fabian Mongetti, Caspers, Franco Farinella, and James Bayliss, Harry van der Sarg, Marco Jesic, that will decide the outcome of this game, to get the ball into good areas. Both teams set up in a 4-2-3-1, generally defending in a 4-4-2. to block. But also those individual contests. You see, we speak about Kambiyashi, George Daniel, who's tenacious. You see Costanzo up against TJ Burney.
Such a good battle. Costanzo winning it back that time. Caspers with a neat little exchange alongside Monge. Kambiyashi wide to Fong. Daniel had the opposite fullbacks measure on that occasion. Marconi looking to get on the move through Damien Sekenis. Kalats, oh, that was a close one. Kalats is forced to clear it out into touch on the opposite side.
He did well in the end, Kalats. He stopped the ball, then turned onto his right foot to clear. And that's where Damien Sekenis is such a handful. He's deceptively quick. Can run you down.
Vaunted the Stallions for their defensive solidity. Of course, it feels a funny time to mention that, given they conceded 5 the week prior. But before that, in the championship, they'd only conceded 2 goals. Back-to-back seasons as the best defence in the championship, or in NPL New South Wales, I should say, as Ortiz drives at Mlinaric. It was not quite enough to confound the man they call the Warden at the Palace. Monge, disguise ball, Kambiyashi. It was nearly brilliant from West APIA. Monge just disguised the ball brilliantly to pick out Kambiyashi, who wasn't far away from repeating the trick of scoring again in a head-to-head meeting against Marconi.
Well, that's clever, Fabian Monge for Kambiyashi. And nearly a goal, but look at this pass, brilliant to Kambiyashi's path. Will be a little bit disappointed with the finish, but already tactically there's some interesting things going on out here. We saw earlier Kambiyashi, who's operating wide right, go inside to pick the ball up, and George Daniel actually followed him all the way, probably 50-60 metres to try and put in a tackle, which opened up the space for Cameron Fong on the right in transition. So it's a lot of man-on-man duels here.
It's the glimpse of the quality that led Fabian Monge to 33 appearances in the A-League with Melbourne Victory. Recently returns to West APIA for a second stint at the club. Of course, it would be remiss of me not to mention he's a former Marconi junior as well. Got his first taste of first grade football at the Stallions back in 2017. Monge's name continues at the club to this day. His brother Julian in the squad tonight, but a member of the Marconi team, scored in this fixture earlier in the year. Kambiyashi has been, as he so often is, West APIA's Mr. Everywhere. Caspers. Winning it back was Farinella. They're doing very well to regain possession as swiftly as they are losing it. Challenge. George Daniel is not best pleased about the attention he received from Franco Farinella that time.
Yeah, we see here, and that's a robust challenge by George Daniel.
Dare I say it, it's the kind of uncompromising attack on the football you want to see in an Italian derby fixture. At least it's the kind of uncompromising attack their coaches will be wanting to see.
Yeah, both teams very conscious of not just the man-on-man defending, but the second and third man in terms of their cover and desire to ambush any movement. So it's been difficult for Marconi to settle into a rhythm and get any rhythm into their possession game. Here once again, George Daniel under huge pressure.
It's a wonderful turn from Caspers. And the pressing efforts of both sides have Rather impressive so far. Here's Patrick Flotman back to his centre-back partner in Kelly. Returning to Australia in the back end of the season did Patrick Flotman, as Hilton is under pressure, and here's Costanzo getting his eyes up. Presley Ortiz left the ball behind. Not allowed Marconi to close their ranks.
Well, we see the consequence of the pressing strategy from both teams. Both goalkeepers under huge pressure when they receive the ball.
Yesic tried to knock it forward to Will Akio, just past the reach of the South Sudanese-born Canadian. Quite the acquisition on and off the park from Tigers FC in the Capital NPL. Won the championship this year, scored a boatload of goals. It's a quality footballing acquisition, as well as an off-field acquisition. Keen YouTuber, 41,000 subscribers. Vlogs his games. He is on the football here and poking it forward to Sekenis. Receiving wonderfully as well. Brilliant stuff from Akio, matched by the challenge of Cameron Fong.
Yeah, great defending there by Cameron Fong. William Akio showed us his pace there. Light on his feet. But Cameron Fong, outstanding defending.
A fair bit of ground to cover to get back and make that challenge, but make it he did.
Showed too much of the ball there to Cameron Fong. Next touch should have probably gone away from him, a bit wider, but great opportunity for Marconi off a corner.
So Akio won the corner, and now Akio will take the corner. It's a good one too, requires tipping over from Ollie Kalatz, and it will be a corner at the opposite end for Marconi. And the interesting thing about West APIA this season, ATEC, is as good as they have been attacking set pieces, defending set pieces has also been quite a vulnerability. It's been a real Jekyll and Hyde relationship with corners for them this year.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, given they certainly have the personnel to deal with those things. And obviously every team has their strategy. When you're defending corners, for instance, it could be zonal only, could be man marking with designated headers of the ball and plays it clear. So here we see APIA, a mix of zonal and man-on-man, essentially man-on-man. You see Melbourne Kudus there with Flotman.
Maya sends it in, Kalach clears only as far as, well, nearly Bayless. Fong was first to the scene. Nice little spell of pressure this from the Stallions after not necessarily a shaky start, but certainly not one of complete conviction, at least in attacking possession. It's George Daniel. Clever little ball for Akio. He's trying to drive at Drayden Kelly. The two Canadians come together, and it's West APIA's who wins out. He got quite a bit behind that clearance. There's a wry smile on the face of Will Akio. And that's probably why, because he knew he tried it and almost got away with it. Almost.
Yeah, it's an ambitious nutmeg there, but it's in a good area, so he's got every right to try it. But he's been lively, Will Akio. Like you said, a new signing from the ACT.
Certainly got it in the locker. 27-year-old who's spent time playing professionally in Canada and Scotland as well with Ross County before the trip to Australia. Brother as well, Victor Latourie, is a Canadian international. So Marich is going to be happy to see that one out all the way. And well, of the 5 players that Peter Sekenis did bring in to this side, he almost admitted without admitting when we spoke that Anton Mlinaric is one of, if not the most important, because he has missed most of the season this year through a knee injury. but he makes such a difference when he is in that Marconi back four.
No, they're not the same team without him. I think he's absolutely outstanding, strong mentally, physically strong, highly competitive. And he's really their talisman. It makes a huge difference to the way they defend.
His bright start rewarded with early advantage in the poll. If you want to cast your vote, you can scan the QR code on screen or head to australianchampionship.com.au and open up the game day tab. And that importance of Anton Lenaric to this side, it's not just backed up in words, it is backed up in the numbers. They played 15 games with him in the side this season, and they have lost just one of them. It's a marked difference to this team. I'm very happy to welcome the Warden back. As Caspers picks up possession again and feeds it to Costanzo. Bernie in the way. Another member of this all-star Stallions rear guard. Tom Bernie having played all but one of Marconi's 42 games this year, and every minute of the championship thus far.
I do like the technical dynamic that APIA pose. Caspers, Kambiashi, Monge, Farinella. Just good players, good technicians. And there's a lot of fluidity in the way they move. Against Bayswater, we saw Monge sit with 2 10s, and then Farinella would move forward, 2 would sit. So there's a lot of interchange. Monge would go forward, making runs into the box. Farinella scoring twice. So there wasn't really a situation where they were just set all the time. A lot of interchange, a lot of movement.
It's because of that fluidity that they have so many players who are able to find themselves in goal scoring positions and rack up the numbers in front of goal as he's intercepted by Mutakutis.
Well, including that man there, Sean Simmons, can get forward and score, and does so often.
Scored one of the goals of the championship from a free kick against Sydney United at this venue back in match day 2 as Costanzo looks to let rip and is denied by a full stretch sliding challenge. Kelly's marauding run comes to naught. Fong keeps it alive.
That's what Presley Ortiz brings to APIA as well. Unpredictability. He has X factor, he's strong, he's mobile, and we saw that little intricate combination there, and once again it was Milinaric clearing.
Fabian Monge to Flotman. He's got a fair bit of pasture to work with, the central defender. And it comes to Cameron Fong. Kambiashi, the man on the inside. It's returned to him wonderfully. The cross is just the crucial bit that's lacking in the direction of Presley Ortiz. But that is how good APIA are when they're playing in flow. They can pull those sort of fancy and effective flicks out of thin air.
Yeah, they have flair. Cameron Fong outstanding there, and that quick combination with Kambiashi. Great idea to whip that ball in early. Just couldn't execute. But once again, Milinari's been outstanding first half an hour in this game.
Definitely one back.
As I say that.
Welcome to the commentator's curse, Aitek Gench. It comes for us all eventually.
Some good players out for APIA. Michael Cooter in particular, a regular who has been ill, yeah.
Milinaric just stayed forward here and to turn it inside. Kambiashi has managed to use George Daniel as a wall to keep that one alive. It's a great point, Aitek. As strong as this APIA 11 is out there tonight, they are missing some very significant names. Of course, they did lose Jordan Stegretto to a long-term injury. Jack Stewart, we know, will play no further part in the Australian Championship. Yaya El Hindi also unavailable tonight, so there's some solid names that would otherwise be starting if not competing, or competing if not starting tonight.
Yeah, outstanding depth that APIA has. Jack Stewart, always a regular goal scorer with his power running, was outstanding last week against Bayswater. Rory Jordan's quick, good player, played last week as well. They've got the luxury of bringing in Cambiashi and Dom Costanzo. Jordan Segredo is a big, big loss as well. Outstanding footballer.
Munaric back onto his feet. Exactly, he was the player receiving medical attention. I just wonder, I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I wonder if the reason he hit the deck is because he absolutely gassed himself, going on one run out of centre back and then another sprint forward to cross it in.
Possibly. Not sure. But
happy to be proven wrong, Anton, if that wasn't the case. He's a fantastic defender, and well, any defender who's worth their salt has got to have some understanding of the principles of game management, that sort of thing. You know, you've got to be a streetwise cookie to really be a top defender, I think.
yeah, not in my day, Lockie. Defenders were like head and kick and tackle.
Well,
Just
I mean,
joking, with all due respect to all the guys I played with. I don't really mean that.
I think that falls somewhat into the purview of being streetwise, but
It was funny, I was watching a game, 1985, APIA Marconi, Lambert Park, grass pitch, some of the legends of Australian football. Last night, it was, Tony Henderson, Mark Yankovic, amazing footballers, and how time flies. I was in the Marconi youth team at the time.
how'd you go that day?
I can't remember what happened to us, but APIA won that game 4-1 in first grade.
It's a fixture that has contributed so much to the game, both in this state, New South Wales, but in the country as well. First time we've seen it at Leichhardt Oval on the national stage since the 1st of December 1991. Oh, that is a risky pass. Jesic looks to strike first time, and Caspers is able to come away with it, looking to set Dominic Costanzo on his way. Inside it comes, Fabian Monge, beautiful pass, Presley Ortiz, great save from James Hilton. And another piece of wondrous APIA play, this time denied by savvy goalkeeping from the reigning stopper of the year in this state. Still they come, West APIA, through Fong. Cambiashi just couldn't quite angle the ball that time. Through to Fabian Monge.
Amazing chance there for APIA. Presley Ortiz be a little bit disappointed he didn't put that away. But the ball did move onto an angle. Great save by James Hilton, but great build-up and a very clever pass by Fabian Monge.
Ball that one in the eyes of Lockie Keevers, and here's Presley Ortiz again. Cambiashi making the run inside. Ortiz might look to go it alone or tee up a teammate, can't do either. He's ever-present APIA pressure at the moment. In it comes past the reach of Farinella. Macchio able to bring a bit of order to proceedings. Bayless. Stilted in his progression. Stallions are going to move out to the far side through Tyron Birdie. To get on these gallivanting runs. Head short this time. Van der Sarg. APIA have managed to get back into their shape. As well, the Stallions hope to unpick, but in the meantime, might look to check in pitch side with Andy Pascalides. Andy, how are you taking in Derby d'Italia 92?
Absolutely enjoying it, Lockie. I must say it took 36 minutes before we saw the first conclusive save. APIA looking fantastic on the set pieces. They've had a wealth of possession, but the counter punch from Marconi can certainly cause that APIA defence some problems. And just a little bit of trivia there for you, Lockie. The man sitting next to you, Itek Gench, played indoor soccer for Australia in 1983. On that same tour was Ernie Campbell, a 1974 Socceroo who played for both up. So he's in illustrious company. I think the only two men to play indoor soccer for Australia and also wear the green and gold colours of the Socceroos.
I had no idea that I was sitting alongside the indoor Australian soccer royalty, Atek. You keep your cards close to your chest.
But Andy was there as well. Andy was an outstanding indoor soccer goalkeeper himself.
Wow.
As well as being the head of the entertainment committee when we went over to the United States on tour.
Two men of many talents on the broadcast this evening. I'm not sure what that makes me. Set piece coming in from William Akio, but not totally away by Cambiashi. Recycled. Well, Norwich just misses the flick. And no surprise that his expression is an aghast one, because he knows how close that could have been had he made contact.
Well, that's what we talk about, those moments. Marconi have the moments off those set pieces and second phase play, and they're always dangerous in transition and on the counter-attack as well. The last few minutes have been better for Marconi, just to keep the ball, keep possession, sort of dictate a little bit of tempo. The game sort of eased up a little bit. We're 40 minutes in.
It's been pleasing to see that the crowd has continued to build on that far side, even as the game has gone on. Lots of entertainment and offer for those at Leichhardt Oval tonight. In addition to the football, I have it on good authority that at half-time, Striker the Stallion, the Marconi mascot, is in a running race with the West APIA Magpie. Well, let's stick to the football here for the moment, as Cambiashi does well to keep that one alive and arrows it into the penalty area. Mutakutis judged it well. Wanderers and Perth Glory defender showing all his smarts there, as too did Damien Sekenis that time. Kelly blocks it off nicely. Caspers. Nice little shimmy and shake through the centre, and a wonderful ball through for Presley Ortiz. An APIA star striker just pulls his shot when the moment arrived to open the Derby Italia scoring.
What a great pass by Eddie Caspers, a quality footballer. Early ball to Ortiz. He's been outstanding, Ortiz, in terms of his running into the channels, off the shoulder. As we see there, I thought he could have taken an extra touch there, but he took it early and just off target. But he's been good. He's a player that, for me, is a future A-League player. Probably should be in that space. But that won't worry him. He'll keep going.
Of course, a player you would know well, given his travels through other clubs in New South Wales. St George City, of course, Manly United.
Yeah, he played for us at St George City. Outstanding. You know, great character, great player. Unfortunately for us, moved to APIA.
We were just talking about him, and he received a yellow card in back play. Does that count as a commentator's curse? Is that on the, is that on the borderline? I think it might be.
So.
Well, that's the second one of the evening. So, Sporting Club de Portugal youth player as well, Presley Ortiz. A real talent. Couldn't find a 22nd goal of all competitions this season yet. Saya Cambiashi. Delicate APIA pass. Harry van der Sarg. Well, he never played at Marconi with Dom Costanzo, so owes him no such loyalties. Races. Akio. Full pirouette and finds the feet of James Bayliss. Sekenis. More space for the Stallions to work with this time. And it's back for Bayliss, who can't find a cutback. Flotman does his defensive job perfectly, and much to the disappointment of James Bayliss, that is going to be nothing more than a West APIA goal kick.
Yeah, good build-up play, good combinations there. We see Damien Sekenis just finding space in wide areas on the left. That ball to James Bayliss, Patrick Flotman, great defending. that's better for Marconi, who at times in the first half I feel has been a little bit sloppy in possession.
It was, for the most part, well managed by APIA. They're an interesting case in the sense that so much of the discussion around them is their goal-scoring prowess, 116 in all competitions this season. Always people like to mention Franco Parisi's sexy football, as he calls it, but do they get enough credit for their defence? Because they're very tight at the back as well.
No, they probably don't, because they've got such good attacking players. APIA, they've got good technicians, and you know the recruitment's been really good. Here we see Eddie Caspers. He used to be at MacArthur Bulls, you know, a potential A-League player at one stage. Still got a huge future in that space.
Wonderful touch and turn from Presley Ortiz. Farinella in support. He might look to go it alone. It took a touch, and Hilton saved wonderfully.
And like I said, the misses won't worry Presley Ortiz. Outstanding run once again. Great opportunity. And like I said, he's been fantastic in the first half here. Always lively.
He did score the sealer last time these two met. It was good reflex work from James Hilton as the shot took that deflection off Tasmur Dakudis. Scored the decisive goal against Marconi in the preliminary final that sent APIA through to the championship game. Just hoping to repeat the trick tonight as Kambiashi floats a high ball in. It's missed by Kelly. It's in for an own goal. But it is going to be chalked off by the referee, Lockie Keevers, much to the relief of the Marconi Stallions defence.
James Hilton came out for that. The ball was actually curling away from him, which made it difficult. Just need to see the infringement.
You may have just caught a glimpse of Franco Parisi and his team having a look on the monitor as to whether or not they want to challenge this one. So the incident is for an infringement on the goalkeeper. Here we have a slice of history. The first football video support check in the Australian Championship is made and played by APIA. So each team allowed 2 challenges within the 90, inviting the referee to come and review the decision. Should the challenge be successful, they will retain their review. They will lose the challenge if not. But this is what they are looking at. Was there a foul on James Hilton here?
I don't know, I didn't see one. Did you? I can't see any infringement there.
Lockie Keevers has made his call. And he believes that the contact from Patrick Flotman on James Hilton was sufficient. And so the first football video support challenge of the Australian Championship has been used up by West APIA. You cannot deny that there is contact. Whether or not there is
my view,
or intent is perhaps another matter altogether. And
right,
perhaps that's the question that West APIA are asking.
Well, they're a protected species, aren't they, goalkeepers? You're not allowed to jump, not allowed to touch them. That's just my view.
So just the housekeeping. APIA now have 1 challenge left to use in this game. If successful, they would retain it so they can make another subsequent challenge. Lose that one and they will be all out unless the game goes to extra time, in which case they would get 1 more. And it is the final note of an entertaining first 45 of Derby d'Italia 92. But as the teams head to the sheds at Leichhardt Oval, we are no sooner to finding out our first semi-final entrant in the Australian Championship. All to play for in the second half. The halftime score, West APIA 0, Marconi Stallions 0.
Presley Ortiz, what a lively first half. No goals. You're in the thick of the action.
Yeah, no, obviously, I was hoping to put one of them away, but second half's coming around quick, so hoping to do that second half.
Now, what about the disallowed goal? It was the first time we used the VS tonight, the video support.
Yeah, I was hoping it would go in our favour, but, you know, ref saw something that we didn't, so his decision in the end. Yeah.
And going into this second half, you love a derby, don't you?
Love it. Yeah. Can't wait to get on the score sheet and
Good
win
luck.
this game. Thank you.
All the best.
All smiles on the face of Presley Ortiz at half-time of the 92nd Derby d'Italia and the quarter-finals of the Australian Championship, but we are still awaiting the game's opening goal. It hasn't been for a lack of trying, not least through the man interviewed at half-time, Presley Ortiz. This was a glorious early chance, ATEC Gench, for West Apia in what was a tight but entertaining first half.
Yeah, it was a tight first half. I thought APIA were probably the better team throughout, better possession. Some of the combinations were outstanding. We saw there, Flopman hit the post off a great delivery there by Kambiashi. And their wide men, Kambiashi and Costanzo, have been a handful. They've kind of pinned back Tyrone Burney and George Daniel. Here we see Fabian Monge. What a clever pass there for Presley Ortiz. And a great save by James Hilton. But like I said, APIA have been very, very good. Have been able to snuff out any of the attacks from Marconi. And there we see Ortiz just not quite getting the ball to the other side of the goalkeeper.
They have been limited to flashes so far, APIA, by Marconi's defence, but the flashes they have shown, at least that pass for Presley Ortiz, have been top quality, and he had a number of chances to open the ledger in this game.
Yeah, once again, a great run, great pass there by Eddie Caspers. Early ball off the shoulder. Ortiz, great run. Probably could have taken an extra touch there and put the ball away. But ominous signs. And, Milinaric and Mortakus, who have been pretty good, had their work cut out there.
Been too much to split the side so far. It is APIA who have had the greater of the chances so far. You saw the two or three best ones for them at the moment, but for Marconi, they have been for the most part defensively solid, ATEC, but that 0 shots on target figure and the attacking flow generally is something they'll want to work on in the second half.
Yeah, for Marconi, a lot of their forward forays come from TJ Burney on the right. George Daniel likes to get forward, and they've just cut off that area and those channels APIA have, and so it's been really difficult for them to get into good areas where they could bring in Marco Jesic and Damien Sekenis.
Of course, the winner of this game will go on to the semi-finals next week, and they will play the winner of Avondale v Morton City. It's a massive weekend of quarterfinals football to come. Is there a pick of the bunch in there for you, ATEC? What are you looking forward to?
No, all great games. top clubs, and you've got the Victorian heavyweights who are favoured to win those games, the Heidelbergs, the Avondale, South Melbournes, but don't count out Spirit in particular and Morton City. I think they'll be good. And Franco Parisi actually rates Metro Stars. He thinks they're a top outfit.
Yeah, he referred to them as one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the competition, and it is they who will get us going at 12:35 p.m. tomorrow when they take on the mighty Avondale and Bruno Fornaroli. Morton City have been so entertaining so far, ATEC. You enjoyed them last week.
Yeah, really enjoyed watching them play. They can concede goals, but they can score goals. And whenever they're down and out, we've seen them on a couple of occasions go 2-0 down and really come back. And very, very clever outfit. Really enjoy watching them play.
And it is the Group B ladder leaders, the undefeated Heidelberg United, who will host the aforementioned Metro Stars from 3:35 at Olympic Village. Heidelberg United, have they been the team of the championship so far? Or
well, they were for about 3 games, and then they've had a few draws, but that's what good teams do sometimes. They're through comfortably. I did speak to Peter Sekenis, who said that they were, Heidelberg, outstanding outfit. And John Anastasiadis has worked wonders with them, so I expect Heidelberg to do well.
And then it ends on Sunday, where South Melbourne will host one of the stories of Sydney football this season, NWS Spirit. Ousted Preston to quarterfinals position. That should be a really interesting interstate clash between 2 of the top dogs in Victoria and New South Wales.
Yeah, spirit outstanding in the New South Wales Premier League. They did lose a couple of players before the Australian Championships. They brought in a couple of quality players, Aidan Mustafi, Caleb Jackson-Brown, Aidan Kira. So, they'll still be a handful.
Well, those are the 3 quarter-final fixtures you've got to look forward to across the weekend. But here on Friday night at Leichhardt Oval, it is still all to be decided in the first. It is level at the break between Marconi and APIA. It can't stay that way. Join us on the other side of the break.
I'm a son of an immigrant that came from Greece with nothing but hopes and dreams. And football created not just the chance to watch your team. It was a hub where people met future brides, future husbands. It was a hub where you got jobs. It was a hub where it gave you confidence, where you felt that you could speak your native tongue and not be worried about what anyone else would say. But now the championship allows those teams with that multicultural DNA to really embrace, celebrate, honour those before and those after.
The beautiful thing about these clubs, Sydney United, Marconi, APIA, the kit that I'm wearing today, the beautiful thing about them is they're not just for Italians. They're not just for those communities that found them, and it's expanded. Like, just speaking on behalf of APIA, Joe Marsden, the first ever Australian to play in an FA Cup final, was an Italian. Rally Rasic, one of the most famous managers in Australian football history. And then even you take it now to the APIA and Marconi teams of today, they've expanded now to be not just a team for Italians, which is what they were founded on, but a team for everyone, for any Australian football fan, for any nationality. You look at the national team, for example, look at the names. Chikati, Iran Kunda, Mohamed Toure. It's such an exciting, young, multicultural Australian national team. And that's what this country was founded on, but I also think when you look at these clubs, that's what football in this country was founded on as well. So I think it's a really exciting time.
That's my favourite part about what's happening now, the momentum with these clubs. When I played there, it was very much focused on the past. What I notice now when I walk through those gates, there's a lot of talk about the future. Even when things sometimes don't go to plan in Australia, even when mistakes are made, football is still this beast that it's never going away. The next generation of kids, they're growing up playing football video games. Yep. They're collecting vintage football kits. They're wanting to engage on all social media platforms with the world of football because it's the game that the world talks about. It's the game that the world cares about.
There's always that will to win every competition you're in, particularly at a club like Preston. We don't really like second or third or fourth. I don't like second or third or fourth. We want to be the team. We want to be the team that everyone fears. We want to be the team that everyone respects.
Look, I think it's exciting for everyone, not just for me. It will be the first one, which is exciting to be part. I hope we can have a good run and we can win the first one. For me, success is like create something bigger more than win a title.
It's not about dwelling on the past. It's about understanding why we are where we are. Why are we at 6 straight World Cups? Why have we produced all these good players? Well, it's because we've had this great professional league, the A-League, but we've also had all these clubs before it that have produced generations of players. That's why it's in our blood.
Welcome back to the second half of the first Australian Championship quarterfinal between Marconi Stallions and West APIA, a glittering 90-second derby d'Italia that has brought out the stars on the pitch and on the sidelines. Andy Pascalides has caught up with a former Socceroo in Nicky Carl. Let's hear from them now.
One of the great things I love about the game is seeing technically gifted players come through the system, and this man, Nick Carl, is certainly one of those players. You graced Marconi Stallions, Sydney FC, Crystal Palace, Troyes in France, Turkey, where else? Haven't you?
Newcastle Jets.
Newcastle Jets. I mean, you love a derby, mate. How have you seen it so far?
A very frantic game, a very quick-paced half of football. I think we weathered the storm at the back end there, and I think it'll be a very exciting second half.
APIA look dangerous, don't they? Particularly Ortiz pushing through.
Look, they're a quality side. I think there's two quality sides of football out there. I still think there's a lot more to come out of the game. And look, as long as we weathered the storm and keep in the game, we got enough talent up top to sneak one in and get the win.
Nicky, you're back at the Marconi Stallions. What are your thoughts about the Australian Championship?
So far, absolutely loving it. Look, this is an iconic field we're at. I played here in front of thousands of people in the old NSL, so it's good to see. It's good to see people come in supporting the iconic clubs and really enjoying it so far.
It's great to see good football people like you still involved in the game, mate. Take care.
Thank you very much.
What a treat to hear from Socceroo, to get his thoughts on the first half of this fixture. The man who is currently the technical director at the Marconi Stallions, the recently returned, and he's not the only Socceroo we're going to be hearing from this half, because joining me in the commentary box, of course, is Atek Gensch. Atek, it was an interesting, a close first 45. It feels like a derby d'Italia that still has a bit more to give to us.
Yeah, there's a lot more in this game, but default back to what the halftime team talks are all about. I think Peter Sekenis would not be unhappy, but he knows his team can give more. I think very important they stay compact. They nullify the influence of Ortiz, Kambayashi, Costanzo in particular, and not to let APIA have too much space in central midfield, really deny them space. Whereas for APIA, I think Franco Parisi will be happy with the way they played generally, created chances. Very important for them that their rest defence, the way they counter press and so on, is good enough in the second half.
A run from Will Akio, thwarted by Cameron Fong. That was a really entertaining first half battle that looks set to continue. And just as APIA did when they were attacking this end in the first half, it is the Stallions who will get a set piece from the left-hand side in the opening 2 minutes. As it's floated in by Akio, missed initially by Caspers once and then twice. Sekenis couldn't fire, and there were a few appeals as he was collected from behind. And Sekenis looking to return tonight to the scorer's sheets for the first time since his hat-trick against South Hobart. Certainly the quieter of the two strikers in the first half, but you can expect that to change in the second stanza. A beautiful sliding challenge from Sean Simmons.
Great defensive work, and just the man they really need to get into the game here, Marconi's Franco Mayer. An outstanding footballer, left footer, operating on the right-hand side here. That's great defending.
It's textbook from Sean Simmons, the 11-season APIA veteran, still only 32 years of age. In his prime, not that he's out of it now, still a very good player, but he was more of an attacking player, a left-sided winger, but he seems to have really relished that slotting into a fullback spot of late.
Yeah, no, he was outstanding. Scored a lot of goals for APIA. Playing up front, could play 9, 7, 11. And been outstanding at left back as well. And he's athletic, he's strong, and we saw that.
Scored, I mentioned his goal-scoring prowess in his attacking days. Has scored 3 times for APIA in the Derby d'Italia, which has a, if you missed it in the first half, a red-hot head-to-head record. 38 APIA wins to Marconi's 37. Only 4 of the last 35 have ended in draws. We usually get a winner be looking to make themselves that now as Costanzo glides through. Can't put a shot towards the goal of James Hilton, his former teammates equal to the task of keeping him quiet on that occasion.
What we saw there, Tas Mortakudis just bringing the ball out. And as he went to knock the ball long, just kicked Presley Ortiz's Achilles. Both went down. And then we saw that moment with Costanzo with a good opportunity inside the box. But I hope this is okay, because here we see Mortakudis goes to play the ball and bang.
That is nasty and totally unintentional. Mortakudis was just caught unawares by Ortiz on his blind side, and sadly both have borne the brunt of it. It's as though Mortakudis will be fine, and concern turns to Presley Ortiz. Franco Parisi, of course, has already lost probably two members of his first choice front three alongside Ortiz in Jordan Segreto and Jack Stewart to injury. This would be arguably, given the position that he occupies as the number 9, the most chastening loss yet. To have the usual super substitutes. Alex Denmead in reserve, should they need him. It's just, that's unlucky as it gets, really.
Definitely unlucky. I'm hoping he's okay. But on the bench for APIA, obviously Alex Denmead, Rory Jordan, it's more of a winger. Oscar Gonzalez, son of Carlos Gonzalez, ex-Football New South Wales board member.
Wasn't he quite the headline maker last week? Youngest Australian Championship goal scorer at 16 years of age. They've got the two youngest players in the championship on their books to APIA. Max Court, the other, currently on international duty with the Joeys. Actually scored against England a couple of days ago. Franco Parisi sent me the footage of his goal personally. It was a very well taken strike from a talented youngster, and well, Presley Ortiz is back onto the field, but he returns in some discomfort. I haven't seen any APIA substitutes make their way to warm up just yet. I wonder if that might change. This is not looking good whatsoever. Kivas and Sean Simmons are going to help him off the field of play, as I suspect the day has come to a rather unfortunate end for Presley Ortiz. This is a real shame. So it is just the most unfortunate of injuries. Kudus putting all the force of his boots through the back of Presley Ortiz's Achilles. It's a rather dull and disappointing end to his day. It's the only consolation for West APIA is that they have a very reliable second string option in 21-year-old Alex Denmead. 11 goals in all competitions this season, including his last goal on the 10th of August against the Marconi Stallions, one of his rare starts of the season. Zacchio has gotten the better of the fullback there, and Kalatz has to retreat. It's lifted in, no one's home to receive it. In a situation that could have been far more danger to the goal of APIA comes to naught. But here is Alex Denmead on the ball now. How does that change the way that APIA go about their attacking play? Because he's a talented finisher, but he's a different kind of player. I'll come back to you on that point later, as Costanzo is looking to do it all himself. Don Costanzo! Oh, the script was written for the former Marconi man not to be this time around.
Well, if you isolate Don Costanzo 1v1, as we can see here, and he cuts inside just over the bar. Great work by Costanzo. That speed inside the box. Outstanding effort. just couldn't get over the ball. But getting back to Alex Denmead, he does offer something a little bit different. Generally plays more as a winger. They can play as a number 9. But Ortiz is a different type of player. Holds the ball up differently, makes those runs into chance. But one thing you get out of Denmead is energy. A good player who can score goals. Like you said, 21 years of age, has come out of the A-League Academy system. And he's a handful. So he can dart into gaps and score. So it's not a bad option, but really disappointed for Presley Ortiz, who's been outstanding tonight.
Just knocks that one straight out of play. Denmead, formerly of the Western Sydney Wanderers, his 3rd senior season at APIA. Previously been a junior of the club. 11 of his 12 goals in the league this season have come off the bench. Hoping for an anything but unlucky 13th tonight. Tyron Burney winds the ball into the box. It's emphatically away by Flotman. Marconi trying to bring that intense attacking press. APIA nearly able to play around. Talked about APIA's defensive prowess being maybe an area for which they don't get as much credit. Do Marconi maybe go a little bit unheralded in terms of their pressing ability as well?
Oh, they're a strong team, Marconi. They're always looking to press. They can mix it physically, they can play, they've got good depth, and they like to be on the front foot. Both teams do, and we can see this in the second half. I think Marconi started really well. A bit more composure in the way they're playing, more possession, a better build-up. But don't forget, APIA are missing, or who was one of their best defenders, if not their best defender, in Temba Maitamalo, who has had an ACL operation, and he's been outstanding for APIA for many a year. So he's been out, but Drayden Kelly's been outstanding since he's come in as well. And Patrick Flotman was a signing during the year. That's a great signing for them.
It's been a testament to Franco Parisi's coaching ability. It's easy to forget given how successful his tenure has been so far. 2 championships, Waratah Cup, how fresh into that journey he still is. But he's managed to find the solutions for a lot of the problems that have been thrown up to him this season through those injuries.
A lot of it comes down to your manner and your man management. His ability to rotate a high-end squad has been really, really good. I remember when we played them during the year with St George City, their bench, I think, had like Segredo and Fabian Monge and all these guys that you would expect to start. So he's done a great job in making sure that every player is happy and has the belief and unity that he wants.
Only problem for him this evening that with no Ortiz, no Stewart, no Segreto, he's without 43 of the goals that his side have scored this evening. He's lost some really valuable pieces in the last couple of weeks. They've scored, though, in almost all of their games this season. Looking to do so here. Farinella have a couple of touches, shifts it to Kambiashi. Haven't seen as much of him in the second half so far. Now Fong lifts the ball and it's tantalising! Oh, what a stop from James Hilton. Farinella sailed through the air. Leichhardt Oval fell silent, expecting the opener. And the Stallions shot stopper steps up once again in the championship.
Once again, great build-up, bodies around the ball for APIA. Cameron Fong with the overlap run, and he had the peace of mind to dink the ball into a perfect area, and what a save. What James Hilton. That's what APIA can do. Once they get bodies around the ball, those combinations, they're a handful.
Here comes the delivery. Hilton equal to the task once again. Kobayashi couldn't manage to find a way through. Simmons did brilliantly to keep that alive. Time Daniel can pick it off. Hilton, season's NPL New South Wales goalkeeper of the year. He has continued that form into the championship. Bit of a shaky game last week against the Wollongong Wolves, but it would be fair to argue that's been the only blot on his copybook so far. 3 clean sheets otherwise, most of any goalkeeper in this competition. Holds a medical degree as well. He is a man of many talents, goalkeeping chief among them. Denmead couldn't drop that off to Cameron Fong. Yesic bodied off it by Patrick Flotman. Maybe just taking a bit of a grip in the last few minutes. Time Burney able to win it back off Costanzo, who of course will have to be careful. He is on a card as the task has been set for Sekenis. Kalatz doubles back. Kelly's gone to ground. Sekenis looks to fire early. And Kelly returns to his feet and makes the requisite defensive challenge. It's the kind of moment that makes you wonder whether at the 60th minute mark, oh dear.
Is that a commentator's
That is
curse?
a hat-trick of commentators' curses. That one was my first. Sorry, James Hilton. Total swing and a miss from the man who, well, in shot-stopping terms, can do no wrong. Playing the ball out from the back is still a fairly new-age thing for goalkeepers, perhaps.
It's another opportunity here for APIA.
It's not a situation, we laugh about the missed kick from Hilton, but it's not a situation you want to afford to APIA. This is one of their most useful weapons. So breaching an opposition backline. That one's not, though. But luckily for Sean Simmons, he's going to get another crack as we tick past the hour mark in the Derby d'Italia.
Just want to see a variation, change of angle. We just see it here now.
You're going to get your wish. Simmons, wonderful line breaker for Caspers. There was a bit of a pause there. Some thought he might have been in an offside position. Kambiyashi. Sekenis able to clear. Kelly. The central defender is a long way from home here. And couldn't make much of it in the end. Try as he might, though. Can the Stallions break away through Van der Sarg? Akio was open on the far side. Brilliant sliding challenge by a man who has been effervescent in midfield this evening in Eddie Caspers. He really has put in quite the performance in the centre of the park.
That's a hallmark of the way APIA have defended the counter press. That ball-centric 5 players just ambushing the ball there. As Marconi were in transition. And that desire has been evident throughout the game.
Kudus for Tyron Burney. Judged by Costanzo. He's keen to take the throw quickly and find Caspers. A good man to be finding at the moment. Not that time around. Kambiyashi. Bayless robs him of possession. Marconi are getting a little bit more space with which to work and run into, but they are as yet unable to effectively use it. Caspers. Farinella switches the play. Costanzo can get himself isolated with Tyron Burney again. Great sliding challenge though from the Marconi defender. Gives his former teammate a bit of love. And it is a coming the way of West Zapia. Surprisingly, Dom Costanzo, who was a set and forget set piece taker choice for Marconi, is not taking any tonight. Kambiyashi and Sean Simmons have been the men in charge.
Yeah, Kambiyashi, there was a great ball.
If it ain't broke, I won't bother fixing it. Kambiyashi looking to put another on a platter for one of his teammates. Curled in by Kambiyashi. Hilton flaps, and Akio, will he look to trust his pace here? The answer is yes. He manages to come up with it at the other end as well. One back by Farinella. And now Simmons darts the eyes up. It's a lovely, intricate pass for Denmead. who was coming back from an offside position anyway, I believe, and that might give us a chance as Franco Farinella is the player on the deck as well. Injury concerns for him. We can get an update from Andy Pascalides on the sideline, who has an injury update on Presley Ortiz.
Yeah, just spent a minute or so with Presley and the medical team inside the APIA dressing room. It's bruising up the Achilles on his left leg. Ice packs are on it. They're hopeful it's not as serious as what it first looked like. And hopefully for APIA and his team and family and friends, that is the case. But the next 48 hours will determine where he stands moving forward. But for a 0-0 derby, it's had everything. And I'm just surprised that we haven't seen a goal. APIA have had the clearer chances. And, you know, in football, you hold on, you counter punch and you jag one late. Is that going to be the scenario we see in the next 16 minutes or so?
Thank you for the update, Andy. I hope we don't have to come to you for another injury update too soon, because Franco Farinella is still on the deck. And you mentioned quite rightly that this game has had everything. Well, I'll be slightly glib. It's had just about everything. We're still waiting for that all-important opening goal. This was the incident that led to Franco Farinella's trip to the turf. Just going through a few run-throughs. 25 minutes until the end of the 90. Of course, in other weeks of the Australian Championship, that would have been enough to bring about the end of the game. It will not do tonight. You have to have a winner. You have to have a goal scorer. 30 minutes of extra time. Penalties if required after that. If there's no opening of the leisure at Leichhardt Oval. And it would be a moment to jot down in your history books, because Aitek Genç, in 50 years of the Derby d'Italia, it has gone to extra time only twice. Penalties just once.
Well, you know what's going to happen. We're going to penalties.
You may have spoken it into existence. It would be a 41-year first. We've gone to penalties since the 14th of October 1984. And APIA won 4-3 on penalties after a 3-all draw in 120 minutes of football. It's back when the NSL was in a conference system. That's how long it's been. In a semi-final of the Australian Conference. Farinella is back on the turf again, and unfortunately this race is run too, and this is starting, it started this evening as an injury concern for Franco Parisi. This is rapidly becoming an injury crisis. That would now be 5 unavailable first-team stars succumbing to injury in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And like you said earlier, Lockie, you know, you've got Segredo, Ortiz off now, Jack Stewart, Franco Farinella. It's just quality footballers that are not available, but they have depth. Kasalovic is a good player, also a player that's come out of an A-League academy.
Jesic trying his best to win that ball back. Lockie Keever's not happy with his overzealous attempts to do so. So you should mention that this is APIA's 45th game of 2025. They've played the most of any side in Australia this year alongside Heidelberg United. Just wonder if maybe that is taking its toll on a couple of the players, as Marconi are going to freshen their attacking options as well. 24, Ante Busek is going to replace Marko Jesic, and Damien Sekenis' day is done. Coming in his stead will be 17-year-old Noah Anderson, who before Oscar Gonzalez scored for West APIA last week was the competition's youngest scorer. What do you make of those changes for Peter Sekenis?
Busek is a very clever footballer. Good change. But you've taken off, Marko Jesic and Damien Sekenis, two guys that actually are very important to the way you attack. They have been nullified. Busek, like I said, very clever. Noah Anderson, I saw him playing under 18s against us for SD Raiders not long ago. So it's been a meteoric rise. Very, very fast player, very quick.
It's been one of the great stories of the championship. Coming off the bench and scoring against the Wollongong Wolves. Spoke to Nicky Carl out of the break at half-time. Well, he is a big reason why this man, Noah Anderson, is at the Stallions these days. Oh, and he has come straight into the fray with some youthful exuberance. And he's going to escape any necessary cautions from Lockie Keevers, but wouldn't have tickled for Drayden Kelly. Yeah.
Once again, outstanding defending. Drayden Kelly on numerous occasions in the 1v1 scenarios has been strong. Noah Anderson, like we said, has a lot of pace and he's fresh. Good defending. And that's what you want Noah Anderson doing. You know, just like him to throw a little jink in there, drop of a shoulder, something. Because if you can do that and accelerate, it'll be a very hard player to mark.
And in Anderson and APIA, they now have two players on both flanks who can do exactly that sort of thing. Anderson, as you mentioned, came across from the SD Raiders, where Nicky Carl formerly was running the show. His first recommendation to Peter Sekenis when he came across as Marconi TD was that the 17-year-old kid at the Raiders sign this kid, and sign him he did. His first touches on the football for the other substitute, Mate Busek. And pretty good touches as well. Akio sliding across from Franco Meyer. Clever little leave. Marconi with numbers forward. Plenty for Tyron Burney to aim at. There was a bicycle kick attempt, and it's an instant impact from the substitute. Mate Busek is the Derby d'Italia deadlock breaker. First blood to the Stallions in the quarterfinal. And the change off the bench pays dividends for Peter Sekenis.
That's where Tyrone Burney likes operating in those wide areas, and when he does get forward, he's got a quality cross. Here we see attempted backflip, but Mate Busek with a great goal, great finish.
There's chaos in the penalty area, but Busek was in the right place at the right time and lashed it in to open the scoring. And with 19 minutes to play, the onus is on APIA to find a route back into the contest. Second goal of the Australian Championship for Mate Busek. He's popped up and scored some important goals at various points this season in some of the big fixtures. Against Sydney United, Sydney Olympic, and adds APIA to the list of New South Wales heavyweights he's found the score sheet against this season. For all the promise of APIA's performance to this point, it is now pressure on the home side to keep their championship dream alive.
Well, they need to conjure up something here, APIA. They've lost a lot of players. Really need to just keep going, be positive, get bodies forward. We'll see Kasalovic operating probably a little bit deeper. But now the onus is on Casper's Monge to get forward without Farinella. And the Jack Stewarts and the Segredos, they're probably lacking a little bit of firepower offensively, all quality footballers, but Denmead's going to need support. They need some players in wide areas who can go past defenders, get bodies forward.
Been many times this season where the reigning champions have been able to conjure something up against the odds. And their record after going behind this year is the prettiest. Only won one game after conceding the opening goal of a fixture. Contrast that with their record when they score first, 31 games unbeaten. So they're going to have to find another level here, especially because we know how good this Stallions defense is capable of being.
Yeah, they get you into the grind, Marconi. And once they do, and they strangle the life out of you, so to speak, very difficult to find space. We see the energy. And I think Bayliss and Van der Sar in particular have been outstanding, particularly with their defensive work and their work rate.
Caspers. Costanzo making the run. Can he be found here? No, it's wise defensive work from Anton Mlinaric, and then Maya sent that one into the stratosphere. Bit of a wince on the face of Dom Costanzo.
He's just moving a little bit gingerly. Costanzo didn't really chase that ball with conviction.
Look at the options that APIA have got available on their bench. Attack. Oscar Gonzalez, of course, is only 16 years of age. Michael Kuda, Adrian Uccino, defensive-minded midfield veterans. Rory Jordan is probably the name that leaps off the page. Could you potentially push someone like a Sean Simmons forward? Maybe bring on Michael Kuda into that backfield?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Push Simmons a layer up. If you're looking to get Rory Jordan in there as well, he's got a lot of pace. And these are the big decisions that coaches make.
This is the goal. Ante Busek has hit some brilliant ones this season. This one a lot closer to home, but still bashed it in with the same sort of emphasis. It is a goal that, as things stand, would break Marconi's long-standing hoodoo against APIA in knockout games. I mentioned the head-to-head record is red hot, but when it comes to knockout football, APIA have been utterly dominant. 16 meetings in knockout football. APIA have won 12 of them, 7 in a row. It's been 15 years since the last time the Stallions sent APIA packing in a knockout game. Even though we still have plenty of football left to be played, these sort of set-piece situations are gold dust for the Stallions, because they are such good managers generally of, other than last week. If you just ignored it last week, they are great managers of these sort of game situations.
Yeah, those situations, they can slow the game down, they can quicken it up. Like I said, they can get you in an arm wrestle when they have to, and play exhilarating football when they have to. And this man here has been outstanding since he's come on.
Busek looked so good in the lead up, couldn't make it count with the ball at feet. That one picked off by Daniel. APIA caught on their haunches. Inside for Franco Maya. Akio. Little dummy for Anderson. He left the ball behind. It's scrappy from the Stallions. Does it have an end product? Well, Kalat's got a slightly nervy figure as that one sailed over his head. It's dug out by Simmons. A laboured touch from Monge. Costanzo has angled that wonderfully for Denmead. And here comes Caspers through the middle. Kambiashi is able to keep it at the far side, but I say it, Atek Gesh, that is a coach killer from Alex Denmead.
Well, he did well to cut back inside. He had a forward runner, chose to ignore that. And then that next pass just slowed the momentum.
Denmead didn't see the run of Eddie Caspers. Toned slightly for his earlier error though, winning the free kick. Big responsibility on the shoulders of the 21-year-old tonight. Lost Ortiz and Farinella both to injuries in this second half. Pretty sure, that I saw one, potentially two West APIA players stripped and ready to come on to this game. Michael Kuda is one of two who will come on. Sim Kasalovic, of course, the last substitute to come on for APIA in place of Franco Farinella. I'm surprised to see there is a second, my eyes weren't deceiving me, and Rory Jordan is the player who will come on shortly. But first, the small matter of this set piece. Costanzo, deep ball, kept alive. Simmons couldn't work the angle to nestle it into the back post. But if there had been a Moronatsuri shirt waiting in that area, we could be talking about a level scoreline.
Well, great delivery there by Costanzo. And the ball just volleyed across the face of goal. No one there to hit the ball home.
For Franco Parisi, it's the exact spot you're just wishing a player was right there. Now it's a triple substitution. Franco Parisi is playing almost all of his cards off the pine here. Michael Kuda makes his return to the back four that has been his mainstay of late. In midweek kept him from starting tonight. Cameron Fong has come off to be replaced by the second youngest player in the Australian Championship, 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez.
Oh, it was funny then. Oscar Gonzalez runs on the pitch and Anton Milanaris just gave him a shoulder charge just to let him know.
I told you he was a streetwise defender. I did say that with the greatest of respect. And Rory Jordan, of course, the other player who has come on. A man with a track record, having scored against Marconi in the past, albeit for some of his previous clubs, the Bulls Academy, all the way back in 2021.
I think APIA need the game to flow. Once you have a lot of stoppages and disruptions, it'll suit Marconi.
Simmons heading into the book. The other player who's left alongside Patrick Flotman and Cameron Fong, somewhat interestingly, Aitor Gensch, crucial to the narrative of this derby d'Italia, Dominic Costanza.
Well, we see here a change in the way they've approached this tactically.
Stallions are putting the squeeze on their New South Wales Italian rivals. What do the champions of New South Wales have in reserve? How much more do those tired 45-game-old legs have to give?
We'll see Michael Kuda operating as a central defender next to Drayden Kelly. And Kambayashi go to right back to accommodate the young players who've come on.
This is more like it from APIA. Caspers just couldn't exact the right weight of pass to find Michael Kuda, but maybe that is because it took a little touch off the Marconi defense, and so APIA get an all-important corner, and over comes Steya Kambayashi from right back to take it.
And that's what APIA need to do, just inject one of the central defenders into midfield, create an extra body, extra man, create an overload in certain areas and just allow them to go. We saw Michael Kuda with a proactive run forward.
Kambayashi, great ball, it's onto the crossbar, wow. Well, that would have been a special way to square the ledger from APIA's Japanese sensation. Parisi continues to cut a forlorn figure on the sideline as that equalising goal remains elusive. They've been great late game specialists. APIA still the favourites on the poll, 55% ahead of the Stallions. Scan the QR code on screen if you want to cast your votes.
A lot of APIA supporters there. We see a bad challenge.
And Sean Simmons are getting into it now, and the Derby d'Italia has kicked off. They come in from plenty of directions. Meyer and Simmons involved. Van der Sar came in to have a look. Slocky Givers will have a rather stern talking to Franco Meyer. It's been a yellow card fueled affair so far. Have to be careful not to lose their heads, lose their composure late on in this one, Marconi, because we saw what not being in the right sort of mind frame did to them last week. And this APIA side, they can keep their nerve right until the final whistle. 25 goals scored in the final 15 minutes of games this season.
Franco Meyer, as we see, just lashed at the ball there. But he's a regular protagonist in anything that's conflictive, Franco Meyer. But a lovely human, great guy, great player, but doesn't mind a bit of conflict.
The Hawaiian Latin American flair coming to this Italian derby. As Akio gets on his bike, is able to fashion the ball in, no one home to reach it. Simmons, Jordan, the sands of time slowly starting to work against West APIA.
And Marconi, despite leading 1-0 and not just sitting in a block, they want to press. They want to make it really uncomfortable for APIA to play, deny them space. But APIA need the game to flow. We see Denmead, who's moved over to the right wing. Rory Jordan, need to get him into the plate. He's got supreme pace. We've seen Gonzalez go to number 9. We need an injection of these players in particular at the back just to go in there and create overloads and go with positivity and take the risks.
Tricky one for APIA at the moment is, should they equalise? They're not scoring to win, they're scoring to force an extra 30 minutes of football, which would be tough on this team that have had their injury troubles. As Rory Jordan is looking to create something, couldn't that time. I expect there'll be one big final push from APIA. Franco Parisi, not a coach who leaves things out there on the park. Caspers couldn't claim. Jordan comes up with it. Just got caught by the weights of Marconi numbers at the top of the penalty area. Forward to Denmead. Akio tracking back brilliantly. It's a warm round of applause from some of the travelling Marconi support. As if you are Peter Sekenis, that is exactly what you want to see later on in this game from your wingers.
Yeah, you want every player defending, every player working. We saw William Akio there, his own penalty area, putting in a tackle. And Seka loves this. He loves the fact that every player is there fighting for that moment.
Be showing it, but a nervous man right now if you're Peter Sekenis, looking to get revenge for the semi-final in NPL New South Wales. APIA knocked them out 2-0. Today is looking like it could be a very different day. The 5th head-to-head meeting of this season, 92nd all time. 5th and final could prove the decisive for the Stallions. Gonzalez is given one to chase, but it's the kind of situation you are gobbling up if you're a man like Tasmor Kudus with over 40 appearances in the A-League over the years. A real standout defender at this level. We're looking to lock it in. Looking off a hand. And Franco Meyer is on a card. That is why there is such a furious protestation. And just seen Franco Parisi has made the signal. I reckon this one is potentially going to be challenged. Let's keep an eye on this situation. It'll be a free kick regardless of result. Keevers is still having the conversation with Simmons. I imagine if the review is submitted, this will be checking as to whether or not that handball was an intentional one. APIA, of course, only have one challenge left. They made one unsuccessful in the first half.
Franco Parisi received the yellow card there.
Right now, only one card comes out. And that's the one for Franco Parisi. I have to say, looking at that angle, you can understand his disdain. Kambiashi curling the ball in. It was nearly loose at the back post. Just wonder if maybe that is a situation that does not fall under the purview of the video support system, because that may have been a potential second yellow as opposed to a straight red. And second yellows, as I understand it, are not the ability to review.
Well, certainly not, because Franco would have reviewed that. So instead of getting a yellow himself, it could have been a red for Franco Mayo, which is still an advantage in the last 5 minutes. Great
Wonderful ball over the top. It nearly fell for Rory Jordan. Bernie was clever. Great win back from Michael Kuda. APIA pushing late with stoppage time fastly approaching. Simmons. Outside of the foot pass. Rory Jordan scrapping. Only half cleared by the Stallions. Kambiashi. Caspers. Jordan can't reach it. It's lumped clear by Marconi, who are just holding on at the present moment. Be a lot of eyes on fourth official Alex King here. A couple of seconds. The what we are getting is it'll be 5 minutes of additional time. Gonzalez, the ground just gives way beneath his feet. It makes you wonder, there is the 5 minutes of stoppage time, whether or not this is going to happen for APIA this evening.
Well, they've got bodies in motion. They've had third man runs. We saw there Gonzalez just couldn't control the ball. Kasalovic had made a forward run beyond him. And this is where they're so good, APIA. The bodies around the ball, quick combination. You can see 8-9 players there.
Kuda's early ball for Gonzalez. He was offside. Marconi will be in no hurry to take this one. They are within touching distance of a semi-final spot. You would usually say that's a position you can't get yourself in this sort of situation. A 16-year-old being on the field at this period of time.
Yeah, it was a marginal decision, but Marconi just want to slow the game down a little bit. Lots of disruptions. APIA want the game to flow.
Problem is Marconi have proved themselves very handy at disrupting said flow. Giving up the ghost of killing this one off in their own right. A second would surely seal it at this critical juncture and end a 15-year wait for a knockout win against APIA for Marconi. Eddie Caspers hasn't put many feet wrong tonight. Maybe that's just a sign of tired legs, that one. Otherwise, actually faultless. Can the Stallions see this out? To APIA have one final haymaker left in them as Monaric and Gonzalez continue their little ongoing tete-a-tete this evening.
I don't know what it is, but Milanaris does not like Gonzalez.
Sure, it's nothing personal. It's just a case of you're a 16-year-old.
That's correct. No, obviously nothing personal.
Anton Monaric is just one of those defenders who's got that dog in him, I guess. But that's the kind of headspace I think you need to be in to grind 100%. Out a result like this.
That's why he's such a great defender.
They're all forward in Maron Azzurri, save for the goalkeeper and Rory Jordan. Kambiashi in from deep. It might fall for Gonzalez. Just didn't have the required deftness of touch to open up the opportunity for a goal. Gomea in an offside position.
See over here, Gonzalez. Ball just got away from him. He's got really good presence. He gets himself in good areas.
Kambiashi. Final minute and a half. This is APIA's season on the line. Will it go on to a 46 game or even an extra 30 minutes of football? Sean Simmons sends the ball in. It sits at the top of the box. Kabayashi can't win it back. Noah Anderson, the foot race is on. It's 3-on-1. Marconi could seal it here. It's still Noah Anderson. Across comes Kelly. And it is, in the eyes of the referee, an outstanding challenge from Kelly to keep it alive. Now APIA come the other way. The crowd behind them. Rory Jordan. Denmead wide, chops it inside! And Gonzalez fires into the side netting, and there is more drama to come. We will have added time because Marconi have played their first FVS check challenge of the evening for that slide tackle from Drayden Kelly.
I don't think Peter Sekenis really believes that was a penalty. That was actually outstanding defending by Kelly. Just wants to slow the game down. And we saw the counter punch from APIA with Gonzalez almost scoring. And we had Noah Anderson actually had 3v1, as you said, and took the option of going himself. But I thought it was a fair tackle.
So we'll be checking here potential penalty and red card, and the crucial question is whether or not Drayden Kelly gets any of that ball. Are you feeling any differently seeing it a second time?
I think he got the ball first. There. With the toe.
So Rocky Keevers and Alex King are in dialogue. They could go for both potential decisions here.
What do you think, Lockie?
I think we'll find out very shortly, I think would be my diplomatic answer. Of course, could be potential red card, a potential penalty. It couldn't be both because it's a legitimate footballing challenge, so triple punishment rules would apply. But if it is contact, I guess the question is if it continues inside the box. So just in case you thought this Derby d'Italia needed a little more drama.
There we go.
And here's the decision from Lockie Keevers. And he says no need for any further sanction or change of decision.
Peter Sekenis is going off.
Much to the disappointment of Peter Sekenis, the game will continue as otherwise planned. Hilton has gone into the book. Marconi have used one of their video review challenges that they will not get back, but I suspect, should this one hold out, it will matter for very little. Not that you can tell it on the faces of Peter Sekenis and his assistant coach Peter Papothas right now.
It's always fun there on the benches.
But the Stallions can just about reach out and touch this one. There will be more time added on. It's a question of who it will fall for. It might be Noah Anderson. Oh, what a stop from Kalatz. Keeps this side alive, but for how long? Jordan. A rock in a hard place there, and the Stallions pick it off. Akio. Still going, William Akio. Kalatz getting his side quickly on the move. One for Kelly to chase, and chase it he does. Crucial final moments of added time on added time in the quarterfinals of the championship. It stays alive for Kuta. Kuta's ball in, the header's there, it's Gonzalez!
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
Late drama in the Derby d'Italia. And the story will go on for West APIA. And what a moment it is for 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez. The youngest goal scorer in the Australian Championship last week. And he has waited just a handful of days for another magic moment in this magic matchup. The question that's going on here is whether or not Marconi will challenge it.
Well, we spoke about Oscar Gonzalez having a presence He definitely has that. Great delivery there by Michael Kuda. And Gonzalez on the end of it. What a moment for the young man. As we see a challenge.
High drama at Leichhardt Oval. Peter Sekenis had the card in hand, but did not submit it to the referee. So Hilton, I think, in the aftermath of all of that, Hilton was asking to challenge. I think Anton Mlinaric he's consulted with Anton Mlinaric after making the signal. I reckon Mlinaric has just told him, I think all was fair. I think all was maybe above board. The challenge is only carried once the coach hands the card to the fourth official. Once the card's been handed in, it can't be undone. And now there is a red card on the Marconi Stallions bench. One of Peter Sekenis' assistants is off for an early trip home. Peter Popothis is heading down the tunnel. So the Stallions second in command will see this one out from the sidelines. And a game that is all but certain, it seems, to go on for an extra 30 minutes. The full-time whistle sounds, and for just the third time in the 50-year history of the Derby d'Italia, we are going to extra time in the opening quarter-final of the Australian Championship. What a stunning spectacle of drama it's been so far. The Stallions thought they had it won. Up steps 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez in the 98th minute. And we finally get a chance to have another look at this incredible goal.
And it was just the delivery by Michael Kuda, who's been so good since he's come on, so positive. Great ball, Eddie Casper's down. Oscar Gonzalez just headed the ball home. That's a dream. And APIA scored late against Metro Stars to draw the game, and they're never out of it, APIA. They just keep going. And you just wonder, Marconi lamenting the fact that just could not hang on for an extra 30 seconds. See Franco Parisi just trying to inspire his troops to go for another half hour.
It doesn't matter who you support, whether you think your NPL in your state is better than New South Wales or not, you cannot begrudge Oscar Gonzalez that moment. That was as good as it gets in footballing terms. The 98th minute, one of the latest goals in the Australian Championship so far.
He probably dreams about things like this. You know, when you're a young man, you dream of scoring
about
the winner.
scoring last week. Well, then he's done it again in this style.
You dream about that, that crucial goal, that moment. 30 seconds left, and for him to score, you'll never forget that moment.
And so, 30 extra minutes of football to come. Penalties, with the additional time, cannot decide it. It has been a breathtaking Derby d'Italia at Leichhardt Oval. Let's soak in the reaction pitch side with sideline reporter Andy Pascalides. Andy, you have had a front row seat to an epic.
You know what? When I think I've seen everything in football, up pops that dramatic equaliser from the young kid, Johnny on the spot, Oscar Gonzalez. The reaction from the bench of APIA, rushing to the corner of the field. Players that are injured all of a sudden aren't injured. They're running on the pitch as well. And just the reaction purely across the stadium here. We want more. I think all of us, all the neutrals want more, but I do feel for Marconi. They did everything they needed to do. They absorbed the pressure. They took it in. And as I said earlier, Cross, they were looking for a counterpunch, and it came. They were hanging on. The penalty claim, the VS, everything's happened here tonight. What else? But I'll tell you what, we're set for a fantastic closing part to this game.
You absolutely are. You're not a doyen of Australian football for no reason, Andy Pascalides. Beautifully summed up. We want more. We need more. The good news is we are about to get more. 30 more minutes of football to decide the Australian Championships inaugural semi-finalist in the 92nd Derby d'Italia. And who would complain about 30 more minutes of this?
Yeah, and the substitutes for both teams have been highly influential in the way this has ended. But now it comes down to, back to organisation, back to doing the fundamentals, keeping the principles going, ensuring that mentally you're up for the challenge here. And it also comes back down to the approach. I mean, APIA last 10, 15 minutes were just throwing everything at Marconi. Now they have to settle back into some sort of rhythm.
Gonzalez, back heel flick to find Eddie Caspers. Of course, I should mention a small matter of housekeeping. Saw the football video support challenges used with regularity inside the 90 minutes in its first instance. Both teams used one unsuccessful challenge and lost them, but in extra time they are granted an additional challenge. So each team, West Side, of course, you retain if your review is successful, you lose it if it is not. So it's over the top for Oscar Gonzalez, just missed the ball in flight. Regardless of results, the young man who only made his debut last week has a moment to remember forever in his footballing career. Here come the Stallions though, chopping it back. Mate Busek, could he put the Stallions in the lead again? It might be Lockie Bayliss, or rather James Bayliss. I've mixed up him and his brother that time. Man's not wearing a Newcastle Jets shirt. James Bayliss has scored against APIA already this season.
What a good run there by Tyrone Burney. It's the type of runs he's been making all season.
Daniel Alex Denmead hauling him down, and all legal in the eyes of the referee team. I mentioned that this is just the third time in history that these two have gone to extra time. So this is going to be pulled back for a free kick for the Marconi Stallions. Another offside call, perhaps. APIA have gone on to win both of their previous extra time meetings. The last one coming in 2024. Sean Simmons scoring in extra time to book APIA's tickets to the Australia Cup that year. And then all the way back in 1984. APIA beat Marconi in the NPL NSL final series on penalties. Kasalovic. Have to wonder though, ATEC. APIA, after the injuries, sort of stretching towards the bottom reaches of their bench. There were a few times in that final 10-15 minutes where they looked out on their feet. It looked like a comeback was not even a possibility, let alone an extant reality.
Yeah, 100%. They weren't really in the game there for a while, APIA. They looked gone.
Here's Anderson chopping it inside. Kalic was alert. Busek, fast feet, Mate Busek. Can't repeat the trick. They're firing the Stallions back ahead again.
Yeah, APIA looked out, down and out there for a while, but they found some energy last 10 minutes. All the young boys that have come on actually have done really, really well.
Certainly put the belief in the boots of Gonzalez, that's for sure. Kambiashi sent a little wide by Monge. Still having a little game amongst themselves. Caspers makes a clever run, and his turn's not a half bad one either. Eddie Caspers. And Lenarich has been bailed out that time by George Daniel. The winner of this game to play Avondale or Moreton City in the semis. They will be one win away from the first Australian Championship final. perhaps it is not surprising, ATEC, that two teams who played 4 times this year, 1-2, 1-2, 2 apiece, are level after 90 minutes of football.
Yeah, they're both quality teams. This game's been an outstanding contest. We've seen APIA dominate for chunks of the game. Marconi really came back into it in the second half. And like we said, it's those moments. We saw those moments, or that moment with Oscar Gonzalez.
Just lumped forward. Cats will make easy pickings of this. Stunning first season at West APIA. It's easy to forget that there were a few eyebrows raised at his high-profile transfer from Sydney United to the team from the Inner West. Put on a show of high drama for the ages alongside the Stallions this evening. Kasalovic. Kabiashi caught in a Stallion sandwich. Being pushed back to right back. Hasn't exactly curbed the offensive influence of Kabiashi. He is trying to create again. Releasing Alex Denmead, who drives to the byline and wins a corner.
Got a good area there, Alex Denmead. Good little combination. Just found space in behind. Just thought one of his touches just went astray a little bit. And here we see here, good position to cross. Has won a corner.
Sean Simmons. Many magic APIA moments happen. Can he conjure up another here? It's a decent corner delivery. Hilton retreated to punch it clear. And Bernie just shows it out into touch for an APIA throw. Sides do still have players to potentially call on off the bench. I saw a member of APIA's staff submit a sheet of paper to the 4th official. So I understand Andrew Uccino is the only player they have left in reserve. Marconi, Nicky Griffiths, Geordie Swibble, Mr. Marconi himself, Brandon Vella as well.
Geordie Swibble in particular can score a goal. He's got goal-scoring pedigree. Was at Marconi, went overseas, played in Canada for a while. Has played some A-League. Very, very good player, Geordie Swibble. He can conjure something up. But it comes back down to balance, and one option may be to move or substitute one of the strikers, Akio, Maya, who've all been pretty good. Swibble plays and operates purely as a number 9.
It's such a tricky one in the case of Franco Meyer, isn't it? Because he's on that card. He's come so close to potentially receiving a second yellow as well. But his ceiling in terms of what he can create, and often out of nothing, is the kind of quality you want in such a tight game like this.
He can be a match winner, Franco Meyer. Shoot from distance, got a wonderful left foot.
The Sarg. Good attention cutting through the air here at Leichhardt Oval. These two titans of Sydney soccer, their first national competition meeting in 33 years has not disappointed. It will still have more drama to give us one way or another. It's out for a goal kick because Anderson has launched it into the flag. He did the courtesy of asking both of these coaches if their teams had practiced penalties in midweek. Perhaps it's a bit too early to think about that, but...
Well, you did ask?
I did ask, yeah. Peter Sekena said, yeah, we practice penalties at the end. He never used to believe in practicing penalties. He thought if you practice penalties, you're telling your team mentally prepare for penalties, right? Play like you want to go to penalties. But They do test Jimmy Hilton late on in games. We'll be hoping that it doesn't come to that.
You know what, I've seen guys who never miss penalties in training.
And they step up in the game.
So, well, it's psychological. But everyone has a view on it, don't they?
The neutral view might be if you're watching on at home on SBS On Demand. If you are, it's a little banner there for a man who's actually about to join us on the field. Another one of these APIA stalwarts, Adrian Uccino. Rory Jordan. Gonzalez. The flick works. The cross is out past the reach of Denmead, but it will find Kambiashi. Still Kambiashi. So Kambiashi, that time they read the defensive pass. It's picked off. Rory Jordan, can he find the shooting angle? It takes a deflection. It's not fully cleared. Hilton punches away. Jordan on the follow-up. Goal line clearance. What a sequence. And now Simmons driven away by Anton Mlinaric. Bernie in the corner. Back by Kasalovic. And that'll bring a bit of calm to proceedings after a nervy sequence for the Stallions.
What a great opportunity there for APIA. It was George Daniel who cleared off the line. And then APIA had 8 players in or around the Marconi box there. Substitution there, we see Rory Jordan shot, not clear. James Hilton with a punch. Rory Jordan again. And there's George Daniel to clear.
And it was nearly Eddie Casper scoring the most unwitting of potential match winners as well. And here is Adrian Uccino joining us on the field. 11 seasons with West APIA. 250 appearances, 7 trophies in the Maronazzurri. They have had a really good, consistent core of players over the years, this APIA side. Likes of Sean Simmons, Josh Simmons, who's moved on but is in attendance tonight. Temba Mwatamalo, who's injured. Really been around for the journey. Franco Parisi, of course, a former player as well. Bayless around all the shirts. Accio flicks on and flicks wide. Perhaps wasn't expecting that cross to reach him in that particular moment.
Yeah, good work there by James Bayless. He's got so much energy. He's still going. And Accio just couldn't get high enough to nod that in. And Marconi still have those moments in them. As we approach the halfway mark of extra time.
Which coach would you rather be right now?
Well, good question. I think APIA still have the momentum for me. I think they've got the quality to score. If you put your Sekenis, you're unhappy, really. I mean, you're like 20, 30 seconds away from winning the game.
That's how close it was.
So really, you're probably not as happy. Franco Parisi would be happy.
This is a great run from Alex Denmead. Pass just lacking. He's had a few of those sorts of moments this evening. Hasn't been his game so far since coming off the bench. If there's one thing those who have watched him in New South Wales who know of Alex Denmead is that he doesn't need a lot of moments to make an impact. So many goals off the bench. Probably one of the most efficient forwards in the country or in the state for.
Well, he does have a knack here. He does have a knack of coming on and scoring, Alex Denmead. But what I like about these young players, they've got legs, they run, they move, they play with a bit of freedom. This boy has been outstanding as well, Noah Anderson, since he's come on.
For Mate Busek to hunt down. Drayden Kelly is equal to the task offered by the former Mariners winger. This was for Kasalovic. Approaching stoppage time of extra time. Nice little pass, but unfortunately Gonzalez has done the defending for Marconi that time and cut it out for Kasalovic. Well won back by Caspers, and the free kick is going to bring all that attacking promise to nothing. It will bring the first half of extra time to an end. It is as we were at the end of the 90, a big 15 minutes to come on the other side of this extra time period. Let's head down to the sideline ahead of a big final 15 minutes in this game with sideline reporter Andy Pascalides.
Yes, thanks, Lockie. Franco Parisi actually just gave me a wink of confidence. He's cool and composed. It's not as animated as it was towards the end of normal time. It really is a battle of the fittest, I think. Who has got the reserve? Who's got the energy? Who's got the capacity? Will one of the young guns step up in this second period of extra time? Will we avoid a penalty shootout, the dreaded shootout? The crowds love a shootout. Come on, we're football fans. We don't want games to end, and this is one of them. And it's unbelievable to think we still have to wait to find out who will play the winner of the other quarter-final tomorrow between Avondale and Moreton City in this semi-final. So these two historic clubs have it all in front of them in this classic 92nd Italian derby.
Still so much to come. Are you brave enough to proffer a prediction, Andy, of what awaits in the rest of this game?
Look, the way APIA finished in normal time, but I kept thinking Marconi have absorbed so much pressure in this game. APIA have had the better chances. Even with their opportunities in regular time, they should have won this by a couple. But Marconi have got this sting about them. They can absorb, then counter punch. And that's the fear factor. And Franco Parisi would have seen that in the first half as well, in the second half as well. But I think APIA have got, I just think they've got the legs at the moment.
I wouldn't want to be in your position having to predict where this one is going to go with what remains in the game. It's been an absolute barn burner to open the Australian Championship quarterfinal so far. All thanks to this man, Oscar Gonzalez, whose 98th minute equaliser inside regular time forced an extra 30 minutes of football. And this monumental final 15 for a place in the semis. Penalties if we cannot find a winner in that time. And this is where it starts to get really nervy and really real, Atek Gench, if you are a player out there living through this.
Yeah, the players just go and work hard and just keep fighting until the result comes. But as Andy said, I think APIA do have momentum, and psychologically when you score so late, you kind of feel as though you've got nothing to lose. You can go forward and try and win the game. But we see Marconi have brought on Geordie Swivel for William Accio. One thing I know, if you give Geordie Swivel a chance inside that box, he's going to score. So he could go either way.
It's come off. Corner taken quickly, and Kambiashi doesn't get the eye in. It's a frustrating one for him. So Geordie Swivel has come on for William Accio. The other change, which is a slightly surprising one, but understandable when you've got such a talented defender on your bench, Lockie Griffiths has come on in place of Anton Glenarich.
Yeah, that's an interesting substitution, but Griffiths is a quality footballer. Maybe he's a good penalty taker.
He certainly is a good defender, that's for sure. Season at Marconi, signed from Premiers Rockdale. Missed the last game against APIA for a red card in the finals. As that is beautifully done down the left-hand side from Anderson, but as good as the wing work was, the crossing work not quite the same.
Oh, the pace once again from Anderson. Little step over and went past. You saw Geordie Swivel make that near post run. He wanted the ball there. Anderson just overhit it, but he gets him behind, which is really dangerous for APIA. That's a really good outlet for Marconi.
Drayden Kelly launches it forward, and a task too tall for Alex Denmead. Two teams have played 87 games between them this season. They have put themselves through the ringer on almost all fronts. Australian Championship, APIA League and finals, Australia Cup in the case of West APIA as well. And that's the man there. To see so many passionate APIA supporters and plenty of flags, plenty of colour in the stands. They really have done a great job in the Australian Championship APIA of making each one of their fixtures at Leichhardt Oval into an event, into a big occasion, and the fans have responded in kind.
Yeah, and I was talking to Peter Sekenis, who, he made a good point. He said that people who'd been in the game years ago in the old National League, who'd been out of the game, are starting to come back into the game because they enjoy the concept, they enjoy the fact that there are games like this at Leichhardt Oval and traditional rivalries, and so it's interesting and it's got a great vibe.
Proof that great minds think alike. Franco Parisi said almost exactly the same thing to me earlier in the week about seeing faces that I have not seen at games in years and years, and here they are latching on to this new opportunity for these former powerhouses of national football in this country, entering into a new era and doing so with some awesome football. Swivel. It's squeaked its way through to Anderson, who drives past Denmead and turns on the Jets. Oh, Kelly comes in. It's a penalty kick for the Stallions. And Drayden Kelly is immediate in his intent to signal for a potential review. But as things stand, it is going to be a penalty for Marconi. But Franco Parisi has handed in the video support card, and for the third time tonight, Lockie Keevers is coming across to review the decision. Each team has gotten their extra review. APIA will have one if this is unsuccessful, and this is what Lockie Keevers will be looking at.
Walker bounce there for the APIA defender, Noah Anderson. That pace once again went past that little touch there, and I suppose it's whether there's contact.
It's really hard to tell. The contact, if it's there, is very faint. And the question will be whether or not this is both clear and obvious enough to prompt an overturn from Lockie Keevers. Because on the first angle, the front leg isn't collected at all. And there's maybe a little clip of the back leg.
But is that enough to give a penalty? That's the question.
Well, is it? Unfortunately for APIA, it may not have been enough to give a penalty in a real-time scenario, but that's not the question. Is it obvious enough an error to actually prompt an overturning? Because once the decision's been made, it's been made. But Lockie Keevers is about to tell us. He says no penalty. And so after two failed appeals, we have the first successful challenge of the FVS system. And APIA have received the card back. A little cheeky wink from Franco Parisi. He's played the ace up the sleeve to perfection there. And so APIA survive the penalty scare, and they keep both of their two video review challenges.
And without the video review concept and the fact that we're using it in this game, that would have been a penalty, as per the referee's eyes. Big let off for APIA there.
And we are lucky enough to get a briefing. Oh, Franco Meyer could be in trouble here. This could turn from dream to nightmare for the Stallions. He is on a card. He has already survived one scare. He has scythed down Sean Simmons. Franco Parisi's got the card in hand. But again, I don't think this could be a situation where APIA could necessarily review. Franco Parisi has got both of his cards out in his hand right now.
He's going to submit too.
That's not quite how it works, unfortunately. And it's a straight red. It's another sending off.
That's David DiPuzzo.
On the Derby d'Italia benches, both second in commands for these two coaches are going to receive early showers.
I'd be curious to see what he said.
So Peter Papothis, Peter Sekenis' 2IC went off late on. And now David DiPuzzo will join his fellow assistant coach on the sidelines. Perhaps Franco Parisi is asking the question of why this is an incident that could not be reviewed. Luckily for David DiPuzzo, it's a very short walk to where he has to watch the rest of the game from. Sean Simmons back up onto his feet. Here's the incident again. Foul, no question. Second yellow, that's the question.
Yeah, he actually just kind of slipped into the challenge.
Perhaps that is why Lockie Kivas has elected to show Marconi's number 7 leniency that time around. David DiPuzzo can't believe it. He went up in protest thinking there should be a red card for the opposition, and he's received a red card himself. And here comes the free kick from Sean Simmons. It's flicked onto the back post. Kambayashi! Oh, that would have been special, but he didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, good chance for Kambayashi. That's a difficult skill. The half volley. Head quite not over the ball there.
A small part of me that wondered. Bayless has lifted that one in the direction of Noah Anderson. And in comes George Daniel, who drives the ball inside. Swibble was there, but did not connect.
Great ball there by George Daniel. That's the area where Geordie Swibble thrives.
It's a real penalty box presence. That's one back really well, but not much can be made of it. Kelly able to clear. 5 minutes to go in extra time before we head to penalties in this fixture for the first time in 41 years. Trini Swibble has only had patches of game time since returning to Marconi from stints overseas in Israel and Canada, where he was a teammate of Tas Mordekudis, coming off the back of what I believe was a pretty nasty knee injury. His talents at full fitness are undoubted, in this state at least. One back by Rory Jordan. Aware, foot put wrong by Tyron Burney, and a free kick given away in a position of some promise for the Moronazzurri.
You see Tyron Burney just pulling the shirt of Rory Jordan, who we referenced as being someone of supreme pace. Both speedsters lost the ball there. Tyron Burney just pulled him down. Obviously Rory Jordan had to milk it.
He's not really a player who gets caught unawares like that very often either, no. Tyron Burney. So all the eyes at Leichhardt Way are fixed on Sean Simmons. And it comes from the APIA veteran. Cleared by Mordekudis. Jordan frees his feet. Can't beat all the defenders that were in the way. One back well by Kelly. But not before a foul conceded, given away, and a yellow ticket coming for Michael Cooter. was the one who got the card. There was definitely a bit of contact, but Kelly came in with the hip and shoulder thereafter as well.
Oh, it's been a game of niggles. You know, very robust challenges, physical encounter. But Michael Cooter's been very good since he's come on, highly competitive.
Stop to bring a bit of extra energy. Noah Anderson has dropped that down. Mate Busek can hit them from here. Oh, a superb stop from Ollie Kalats, who keeps his team in it in the final knockings of extra time.
Great save by Kalats. We see here, ball drops to Busek. He had the overlapping runner to his left, chose to shoot. And a good height, but a good save by Kalats.
You can hit them like Mate Busek can from outside the box. You don't begrudge him that. But the danger is not done for APIA. Franco Maya, who some of an APIA persuasion might argue is lucky to still be in this game, sends the ball into the central area, and it's repelled by West's APIA. Take two for Maya. Flick to the top of the box, swivel, and here's Griffiths! It whistles past the post. And it took a touch, a corner coming for the Marconi Stallions.
Yeah, good work here. Franco Maya with the cross. Scribble, great job. Get the ball back to Griffiths. Oh, just past the post. And we're talking about Franco Maya. You know, if you know him and you've seen him play, he's lucky to be on the field most games.
Your words, not mine. Another close shave in this fantastic quarterfinal fixture. Will there be a winner in 120? In it comes from Maya, headed away by Kelly. Not totally cleared. Kalats punches. Here's Tyron Burney. Kudus couldn't claim it. It's head tennis. It's ugly. Can either side produce the moment of requisite quality in what remains? Or are we headed to penalties? Will it be a historic collector's item in the Australian Championship quarterfinals? Kudus has gone down, clutching at the hamstring. And in comes Jordy Swibble, the substitute, as the quasi-physio. Kudus has run himself into the ground this evening. Brandon Vella remains on the bench for the second time tonight after the 90 minutes. We are going to get added time on added time, and then we may still get penalties after that. It's a phrase that gets chucked around a lot in life, Atek Gench. Start as you mean to go on. Australian Championship quarterfinals, if this is how we're starting, the rest of the weekend could be going on pretty well.
There's always an argument just to roll him off the pitch. Which would be a little bit insensitive.
Tense nature of this one hasn't dampened the enthusiasm of the APIA fans or their juniors. Wonderful producer of young talent, Socceroos along the journey. Both of these clubs are. Added an untold amount to football's fabric in this state, internationally across Australia as well. Turning on another spectacle for the history books this evening. The question remains whether this will be a 38th and levelling win for Marconi in the head-to-head. If APIA will find a way to complete the comeback. Marconi have had experience with a penalty shootout recently. They saw off Sydney United in the elimination final. And Franco Maya, well, he has been courting this eventuality for a very long time. And now Franco Meyer receives his second yellow, and Marconi will see out extra time with 10.
You know what, Lockie? If I was a betting man, I would put a lot of money on that happening. And he's such a good player, and like I said, a good human. It's just that, look at that. He knows he's on a yellow. That's just clumsy. Because they need him, right? They need him. They need him for the next round if they get through. They need him for penalties.
And APIA have already scored late against 11 men. What can they do against 10? Jordan, pinned away by the Marconi defence. Brandon Vella, who has come on to step in for Griffiths, or Mutakutis rather. Caspers is actively stretching out mid-match in open play. That's the kind of fixture it's been. Gonzalez has turned cleverly. A free kick in deep stoppage time for West APIA. And one that could help them complete a comeback for the ages.
That's clever for a young man. Gonzalez just used his body, turned, picked up a free kick. Just see it here. Griffiths just went through him. Good turn. Can we see late drama?
We've played 2 hours of football, and you don't say this lightly in this caper. It has had everything except a winner. And Sean Simmons is the man who stands atop the set piece. The free kick. He has made this sort of magic happen before in the championship. In his 11 seasons as a West APIA veteran. Can he bring out the best in himself again here? It is Sean Simmons. It's not the fairy tale finish for the fullback. And we are in the Derby d'Italia for the first time in 41 years off to penalties for a spot in the Australian Championship semi-finals. A Derby d'Italia for the ages is going to get an epic finish to match. Oscar Gonzalez kept West APIA alive and forced extra time. Neither side could score in the additional 30, and now it will be spot kicks with two of the best keepers outside the A-League in the country involved.
Yeah, great game. Two evenly matched teams. Maybe APIA shaded it, but Marconi had their moments. The game ebbed and flowed, but in the end, it's that goal by Gonzalez right at the end that really made it dramatic.
Well, as mentioned,
I'm just saying, this last 30 minutes I thought was a bit of a cagey affair, but now we're down to penalties.
As mentioned, APIA, Marconi rather, have had a penalty shootout already this season from which they emerged victorious. 3-2 winners in the elimination final against Sydney United, and their ace in the hole, Peter Gensch, is they have the best keeper in the state in James Hilton, who made 3 saves in that penalty shootout in their corner. West APIA, first penalty shootout since May 2023 when they beat Sydney Olympic to reach the Australia Cup national rounds. Their keeper in Ollie Kalatz has saved a penalty in this competition against Sydney United in the championship. 2 stoppers who are no slouches by any stretch.
Yeah, this is a psychological battle. I think, I mean, we talk about the goalkeepers. There's no pressure on goalkeepers. All the pressure is on the penalty taker. I wonder if the goalkeepers have done their homework on every player, what they know, what they don't know.
Peter Sekenis confirmed that his goalkeeper coach does a lot of work and research, grinding tape, watching where APIA's penalty takers through this season have put their penalties. They provided that instruction to James Hilton. Whether or not it's made its way onto a water bottle that's going to be sitting on the sidelines is another matter. The 2 captains, Hilton Sean Simmons going through the final formalities. Well, the slight problems for Marconi is some of their best penalty takers they have substituted off in this game. We'll have to have a Marco Jesic potentially in this situation. Top scorer Damien Sekenis. It looks as though APIA will be taking first. It will be captain against captain to commence the shootout. And how fitting that 2 years on from APIA's last penalty shootout, it is the man who won them that shootout, Sean Simmons, who will get this one started. And the fans are, it's the classic penalty shootout thing. They're rushing their way across to get behind the goals to soak this one in from the perfect vantage point.
Many penalty shootouts myself. Remember a penalty shootout against Marconi, match of the day, big semi-final, we missed. So I understand the pressures of what they're going through, and I think importantly is just keep your head, pick your spot, and make sure you hit it well.
As I could attest to, if only it were that easy, because once you step up to that spot, the goal gets a lot smaller, and the goalkeeper gets a lot bigger. And it will start here. Sean Simmons against James Hilton to get us going in the shootouts, and it's saved by Hilton. And did you expect anything else from this superb stopper? Their glorious goalkeeper comes up big, and it is advantage Marconi early already in the shootout.
Great save. Not a great penalty by Sean Simmons. He'll probably be disappointed with that. Probably lacked a little bit of conviction, but Hilton guessed right. Dove and saved that ball, so advantage Marconi.
But it's quite incredible, isn't it? James Hilton has faced 6 penalties this year in shootout situations. He has saved 4 of them so far.
That's an incredible stat. He's got a big presence in there, James Hilton. Now it's up to Kalatz.
And James Bayliss, he was their first taker in the elimination final. He scored. Can he repeat the trick? He does. And Marconi are off the mark in the penalty shootout. And the pressure already starts to mount on the Maron Azzurri.
A good penalty there by Bayliss. Just picked his spot. Sent Kalatz the wrong way.
It's a well-placed penalty, though, from James Bayliss. In the opposite direction in the elimination final, same result. Maxim Kasalovic is the player who steps up second for APIA. Can Hilton weave his penalty-saving magic again? Kasalovic closes in and scores. West APIA on the board, and that was an important one.
Yeah, good penalty. Kasalovic low and hard to Hilton's left hand and struck it well enough to get it past him. And they needed that APIA.
It wasn't far away, and it still went the right way, James Hilton. So in comes George Daniel, a regular scorer of goals this season. Can he put that right here? Big deep breath, big tension in the air. George Daniel, same result, 2 from 2 for the Stallions so far. Well, he may not be a regular scorer of open play goals. That looked pretty smooth and comfortable from the penalty spot.
Yeah, top penalty. It looked like he's disguised it. Looked like he'd go top left and just hit the ball on the other side. George Daniel, that's a quality penalty.
And what a situation this is for 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez. He has already gotten the beating of James Hilton once tonight to take us to this point. Can the 16-year-old show nerves of steel, composure beyond his years. He can! By the finest of margins, Gonzalez squeaks it in.
Well done, young man. Was outstanding when he came on. And look here, confident. James Hilton guessed the right way again, but he hit it so well, right into that corner. And that's those pressure moments for a 16-year-old. There's nerves of steel. What an effort.
16-year-olds are not meant to do that. They're not meant to show that sort of chutzpah on such a big stage. But he has. But it will count for nothing if Marconi keep converting. And now the onus is on Jordy Swivel. The substitute. Saved by Kalatz. We are level. Kalatz comes up big with another stop at that end of Leichhardt Oval in the championship.
Amazing save, Oliver Kalatz. Swivel knew when he wanted to put the ball. Picked his spot, hit it well, but Kalatz was already there.
Blessed with two quality keepers tonight. Both of them have shown their mettle in penalty situations. Hilton will be looking to do it again. Michael Cooter's the man for West APIA. Hilton saves. Fantastic. You are running out of superlatives for a penalty shootout pro. That is outstanding.
And wow, James Hilton, what a save. He was falling, arms up in the air. Cooter knew what he wanted to do. Great save.
So this may be the biggest pressure cooker penalty of the lot so far, because if Harry van der Sar converts this, then APIA will be on the brink. Harry van der Sar, one of their Australian Championship signings. Could be part of a heroic effort here. Van der Sar saved by Kalatz. And it is a shootout for the keepers, this one. Kalatz with back-to-back saves when the pressure was mounting on his shoulders both times.
Again, just a drama of penalty shootouts. Van der Sar picked his spot. Kalatz was already there. Even before the ball arrived, he's already there. It's down to Fred and Kelly now.
Canadian star defender. Millions of followers on TikTok and Instagram. They'll be watching on if he converts this one. Hasn't put a foot wrong in Maronatsuri colours. That will need to continue here. It's Kelly. It's converted with emphasis. That is a superb penalty. APIA's fifth. Best of the lot. And now the tables have turned. Marconi must score.
First penalty take that's gone down the middle and high. That's a quality penalty. And the pressure's on Busek. Because if he misses, APIA win.
3 penalties scored by APIA. Only 2 by Marconi. This their 5th and final. Score this or it's over. Busek v Kalatz for a spot potentially in the semis for APIA. It's Busek and he scores. And we go on in this penalty shootout. As if it was going any other way, this game that has stretched on to marathon lengths.
And you saw Kalatz there telling him, kick it to my right, and he did.
Should have backed himself, Ollie. Should have trusted his own judgment. But now we go to sudden death. So second takers must match or improve what has been set by the previous penalty taker. Alex Denmead, the 6th. Can Hilton stand tall again? Denmead scores. And the heat stays on the Stallions. Well, he's developed a reputation as an ice-cold finisher in New South Wales, Alex Denmead, and that was no exception from the spot.
Yeah, that was a penalty scored with conviction. Denmead beautifully put in the back of the net. James Hilton went the wrong way. Now the pressure's back on Tyrone Burney.
And their nerves, Marconi must be shot. How many scares can they survive? Tyrone Burney with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Semi-final hopes in the hands. Burney scores brilliantly. The penalty of the day. Marconi remain here to play. 4-4 in sudden death. This is remarkable.
Well, Tyrone Burney with the calm demeanour and just nonchalantly just put that in the top corner.
In the heat of the moment, it's as good as they come. Uccino. Mr. Moronaturi himself steps up to the spots and scores. And for the third penalty in succession, the Stallions will have to see off a do-or-die sequence. Great penalty from the APIA veteran.
And that's a quality penalty by Adrian Uccino. And what a great player he's been for APIA for so many years. And just slotted that away.
Already had one teenager convert in this shootout. Noah Anderson will have to be the second, the 17-year-old. This young buck. Can he keep them alive? He can by the thinnest of margins. Kalatz gets a big hand to it. But the Stallions continue to cling on at Leichhardt Oval.
Wow. Kalatz gets the right way. Look at that, straight at him. Probably a bit disappointed that he didn't save that.
APIA are an extra finger away from the semi-finals now. Seiya Kambiashi, the next taker. The Japanese star scores. How many bullets can Marconi dodge? APIA keeps striking true. And they step up to the spot.
Well, Kambiashi did his job there. Just got enough on it. James Hilton just sort of flapped at the ball. Gets the right way again, like Kalatz did earlier. Now it's Lockie Griffiths.
Will he be the latest man to survive a scare? Or is it APIA's time to shine? Griffiths steps up, converts. We go on. Six in the shootout. Eddie Kasper's on the way.
Yeah, calm and composed. Lockie Griffiths just tucked the ball away. And we roll on.
Just brilliant drama in the opening game of the Australian Championship quarterfinals. If Kaspers converts, the heat will be back on the Stallions. If he doesn't, it's going the opposite way. In comes Kaspers, in goes the ball. And within one step again, do APIA go of the semi-finals.
Kaspers did his job. Hilton went really early there. Just see here, look, Hilton's gone.
Be a chance, spring up. In closest Brandon Vella. He missed against Sydney United in the shootout. Can he right that wrong here? Or West Apia going to the semis. Vela closes in. And Vela scores. Marconi have seen off the brink of death 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. This is remarkable.
It's remarkable. You have to have nerves of steel. But a number of sudden death penalties as we see Cullen step up.
And this is how far down the barrel we've got. It's keeper against keeper. Callats against Hilton. Hilton saves. Hilton saves. A third stop from the Stallion. And the table, the script has been flipped. And now Hilton, who has saved 3 penalties, will step up to potentially send the Stallions to the semis. It's Hilton! It's incredible!
Unbelievable.
It's the Marconi Stallions through to the semi-finals of the championship in a Derby d'Italia for the ages. James Hilton, the hero of a penalty shootout epic. 3 saves and the decisive spot kick as Marconi see off West Apia 8-7 in the penalty shootout.
A great finish. James Hilton just smashed that ball past Callats. He'll be so disappointed, but he should hold his head up because Callats was outstanding throughout the game. But Marconi, after going through what they went through last week against Wollongong, have stepped up here and won the game.
Too right that New South Wales penalty shootout god should be held aloft by his teammates. Another penalty shootout, another superb performance from the Stallion shot stopper who grew up as a boyhood Marconi fan and has written his name into the folklore of this storied Sydney club who are going through to the semis to face the winner of Avondale and Moreton City. And this is what it means to them. Comes to an end though for West Apia. 45 games, 46 rather this season, and final. You cannot say they didn't leave everything out there this evening in their attempts to turn this one around, ATEC.
Yeah, they probably deserved more, Apia. I thought they were really, really good throughout the tournament. In this game in particular, they dominated large parts of the game, but got a hand at the Marconi. I see them celebrating. They won the grand final of the New South Wales Premier League a couple of years ago. And they're big match players, a lot of quality. And congratulations to Peter Sekenis and Clee and everyone there at Marconi.
They will hold the jersey of James Hilton aloft all night. They will sing his name long into this evening and long into the years ahead. This storied fixture that has spanned 92 meetings has just written another epic chapter into its footballing folklore. And as much credit will and should go to James Hilton, it can't be ignored the 5 penalty takers who stepped up in sudden death, and if they missed, it was over for Marconi, and they all scored.
Yeah, that's just mental strength and just staying calm and having that belief. James Hilton in that penalty shootout just showed how outstanding he is in that department and throughout the game.
He's a man of immense goalkeeping talents, and we're lucky enough to be joined by him now. Andy Pascalides is on the sideline with the man of the moment, James Hilton.
Absolutely, the man of the moment from one old goalkeeper to a young goalkeeper, mate. Absolutely brilliant performance, not just here, but you know, right through the season. It's a gift, isn't it, in a shootout?
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
About the penalty shootout. You've got that confidence about you.
Yeah, look, you know, we've done it before. You know, last time I saved 3 out of 5. This time I think I saved 3 out of, I don't know, 25. So the ratio's gone up a little bit, but no, I'm just happy we got over the line. The boys really deserve it. You know, it's been a really difficult year with injuries, and you know, to come away from last week, regroup and win like that. I mean, I don't know how it could get any better.
It was an amazing game to watch, as a purist, as anyone that follows football, just to see how that game evolved. It ebbed and flowed.
Yeah, look, I think APIA created a lot of chances. They're a very, very good side, and I think rightfully the favourites going into this competition. You know, a lot was said about, you know, the expectations on APIA and Heidelberg, and we've quietly just been going under the radar and doing about our business, and you know, I think that's when we're at our most dangerous. So write us off if you want to, but you know, we'll be there, we'll be in the mix.
Just on that shootout, you had the upper hand early on and it dragged out to a multitude of shootouts. Then the keepers had to step up.
Yeah, that's just credit to Ollie. Ollie Callas, great goalkeeper, and you know, he made a really important save at the end right before they scored. So full credit to him, full credit to APIA. You know, it's I was saying to Sean Simmons before the shootout, he said, you know, this is going to be a tough way to lose, and you know, he's right. So I do feel for them, but in response to that, I said it's going to be a good way to win, and you know, maybe that's what got us over the line. So.
Well, all the best in recovering and getting ready for the semi-final against either Avondale or Morton.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
All the best, champ.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Write us off at your peril. They are coming for silverware in this competition, and now ATEC Gench, they are one win away from the final.
Yeah, they are, and they find ways to win, Marconi. But they're well coached. They've got a good culture. They're strong. Great bunch of support staff as well. And so they move on now. They'll meet the winner of Avondale Morton City. That'll present another challenge for them. And but you know, you can't write them off. Marconi could go all the way, and they bounced back after that drubbing. I don't want to keep harping on it, but you know, that Wollongong game last week, I mean, that could have gone pear-shaped for them in terms of momentum and confidence and so on. But they're strong, and they got over the line tonight.
Well, they were nearly eliminated from this competition last week. Now they are into the semi-finals. The man who has masterminded it all is their head coach, Peter Sekenis. He is sidelined with Andy Pascalides.
Zeka, I've watched you as a player and as a coach for a very long time. You love pressure. You know how to deal with it. How do you explain what we just saw? It was one of the best games of football for anyone that's a neutral or anyone that supports either team.
That's what we do it for. You know, I played for a long time, and you know, they gave me the buzz, and this is a close thing I can get. And credit to the players, they made it difficult. That's why I got no hair left. But you remember my mullet, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
So that's the outcome. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
I've got to say, being on the sideline, it just gives you a different perspective. I said in the commentary, you absorbed a lot of pressure. They had opportunities, but in football, if you don't take your chances, you can get stung. You stung them, it looked like you were going to hold on, and then you had the drama, the crossbar, the penalty claim, and they jagged the dramatic equaliser deep into stoppages.
Yeah, I thought we started very slow. I think that's a combination of, you know, a bit of jitters from last week and everyone doubting us, and maybe we sort of doubted ourselves a little bit when they took the park. But as the game wore on, we grew into it stronger and stronger. And like you said, there was a couple of incidents there where the game should have been dead and buried. And then in injury time, there was a goal. So, you know, football's, you know, a weird thing. You can't pick it. It's difficult for everybody. The referees, you know, there's so much going on. A lot of drama. At the end, I thought we were worthy for the win, even if it's penalties.
Your keeper was unbelievable.
Jimmy's a great goalkeeper, one of the best, in my opinion. But I'm happy to keep him.
I love seeing teenagers get a chance. You had one on either side. I mean, the goal scorer for them and your boy. I mean, it's tremendous to see youth being given a chance here in the Australian Championship.
Yeah, this tournament has given the opportunity to these young boys, and credit to all the clubs. You know, APIA got a few, we've got a few, and you've got to be brave to play them. And you saw when the boys came on, they were outstanding. They added to the drama, so it's fantastic for them.
Talking of drama, have you got any green cards left on you at all?
No, I don't know what happened to them, to be honest. I forgot they existed.
What did you think of them?
No, look, it was good. It was probably the time, the adding time we've got to get adjusted to. But I think it's a good idea. I think it gives us an opportunity to ask the question where usually we don't. So I think it's a good idea.
Well, this quarterfinal will set a benchmark for the other three that follow tomorrow and on Sunday. I'm sure you don't really look into who you face in the semi-final. It's all about your team and regrouping and refreshing during the week.
Yeah, it is. We've got to prepare. You know, we're known for drama now. I mean, last week people were hoping we were going to cop 6 goals and we only cop 5. That was a lot of drama. Everyone doubted us this week. They're all, you know, the bookies, all the experts had us to lose, and that was for them.
Well, dare I say, mate, you're one game away from a final appearance.
We'll look forward to it.
All the best, Seka.
Thanks, Andy.
Yassel, mate.
Cheers.
Well, there you have it. Peter Sekenis with a shout out to the haters, as his side go within 1 win of the Australian Championship final. And it doesn't matter what hairstyle he's got, Aitek Genç, whether he's a player or a coach, Seka lives for these big occasions.
Yeah, he does. He was a quality footballer back in the day, and he did have a mullet. But he lives for that, lives for the pressure, and they love that sort of backs to the wall, being the underdog mentality. But he's got quality players at his disposal, and he's done a great job with them, and congratulations to him.
He certainly has. He has helped to bring this Stallion side back to prominence, and he's done it with one very important Marconi man by his side. He didn't play a big role tonight, but he's played a massive role in the fabric of this football club. Of course, Captain Marco Jesic, we have to catch up with him, and he is chatting to Andy Pascalidis now.
Lockie, I'm a little bit confused because there's 2 Marcos here. There's Marco Jr., there's Marco Senior. I think the heart rate on Marco Senior is probably sitting around 150 over 120, 125. How do you explain what we saw tonight here at Leichhardt Oval?
Look, I guess that's the exciting part of playing a cup like this, and so many emotions running through for myself, obviously that whole 90 minutes and then the extra time and then the penalty shootout, save after save, and obviously scoring goals. But I guess it's just one of those things that, you know, we didn't probably play to our best ability, but we hung in, we were determined, we were defending like our lives depended on it, and obviously at the end we got rewarded obviously with the penalty. So
I like what you just said, defended like your lives depended on it, because APIA came at you. They had chances. Your keeper was literally unstoppable tonight. The drama at the end, it looked like you had them. You jagged that important breakthrough goal, and then extra time and shootout. What are you thinking as they blow for the penalty shootout?
Well, when they scored and obviously blew for final whistle, I thought, it's happened how many times with them? They've done it, and I'm like, it couldn't happen again. But look, credit to the boys. They kept digging, and you know, we had a couple penalty shouts, and unfortunately didn't go away. But we had a few chances, and again, we were just hungry. I mean, they came at us from the start, and we just didn't let go. We were just hungry. We stuck in, and we got rewarded. And I think everyone's just glad that obviously one Italian Cup's through now from New South Wales. But
this for me, this was worthy of a final.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the game, the whole how it panned out, it looked like a final, and I don't think you can write a better script than that.
And finally, what does it mean for you to be playing in this inaugural Australian Championship?
Look, someone at my age, it's something you wouldn't think of, but you know, as it's come along, you know, we grabbed it with both hands, and you know, we've set out from the start that it's one thing that we want to achieve, and to be the inaugural champions of this competition. So, you know, we're getting there. We've got the semi-final next week, and the week after, hopefully get through that and put our hands on that trophy.
All the very best. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Come on.
A Bosley Park boy, born and bred. That will mean the world to Marco Jesic. And watching him from the sidelines, if he has any nails left after watching this one, Aitek Genç, he's a brave man, because this threw up everything tonight.
Yeah, it did. You see Busek score there to make it 1-0 to Marconi. Great work by Tyrone Burney. And Marco Jesic's been such a great servant for Marconi. He was a youth superstar, played A-League, and then really committed himself to with a big club in Fairfield, and we saw there what an amazing goal, what an amazing performance by the young man, Oscar Gonzalez. His dad was a great player. This kid might be better than his father. I'm pretty sure he's got an A-League career ahead of him.
Special 16-year-old goal scorer. His goal sent us the penalties, and then, as is so often the case when Marconi have a shootout, James Hilton stepped up and made himself the hero.
Yeah, what a performance in the game and during the penalty shootout with his saves, and that penalty he scored with conviction, and he knew he'd score. As soon as Kalatz missed his one, he was all over that ball, said, give me the ball, and he planted that in the back of the net, and Marconi go through.
It is vision and pictures that will last a lifetime for Marconi and James Hilton. A night to never be forgotten in the Inner West. This is how the stats ended up, and while the penalties provided the highest drama, the 120 minutes didn't do half bad either. 36 shots. What was a fairly even contest. West APIA will be proud that at least they didn't go down without a good try.
No, they did well. That's what happens in these knockout formats. You look at it, they lost Ortiz early. They didn't have Jack Stewart, no Jordan Segredo. There's some major firepower that wasn't available for APIA.
And it is a tough act to follow for the rest of the quarterfinals this weekend. Marconi Stallions are through to the semi-final next Saturday. They will face the winner of either Avondale or Moreton City Excelsior, who play tomorrow alongside Heidelberg United and the Metro Stars. Before we wrap up on Sunday between South Melbourne and NWS Spirit. Those are the kickoff times for all of those games. We've got an even earlier kickoff, so you only have to wait 12 hours for your next installment of football. A 12:35 kickoff on Super Saturday on SBS tomorrow, and then South Melbourne and Spirit on SBS Demand on Sunday. And after 2.5 hours of football in the Inner West, we sign off from a Derby d'Italia epic. An Italian rivalry for the ages. Marconi with their first knockout win against APIA in 15 years, and tickets booked to the Australian Championship semi-finals. If you've been with us for penalties, or if you've been for the entire journey, from myself, Lockie Flanagan, from Atec Gench, and from the entire Double Take crew, thanks for your company. We hope you've enjoyed an epic clash in the Australian Championship.